Yo, what's going on, everybody? Dark Zekrom here, and I'm back with,
Storm Targaryen.
and we are back on Tier Mania for you guys, doing it another tier list. But real quick, before we jump into whatever this tier list is going to be, but you guys can see here, there's plenty of famous faces, as well as what the title of the video is, so you probably already have an idea of what's going on. I do just want to preface and thank you guys for all the support that's been given to the channel recently. The channel's been really growing well. You guys seem to be all really enjoying all the different kind of content and videos that we've got coming out, and I seriously appreciate each and every one of you guys that comes in support, and Storm does as well. We've been kind of hyping each other up in DMs about it, seeing the channel grow, and it's been pretty fun seeing you guys react and interact with us. And yeah, just keep your eyes peeled on the channel. We got lots of new content coming soon that we really enjoy and want to kind of put out there for you guys and kind of get your guys' opinions on as well. So make sure you subscribe, leave a like if you guys enjoy this kind of content, as we've got a lot of new stuff coming. And yeah, but without further ado, Storm, you want to go ahead and explain what we got going on here today?
Yeah, so as you can see in the title, we got the decade 2010 to 2019 music artist tier list. So
It's a big one. It's a big one.
big one. It's a big one, and with that, we got to lay down some ground rules before we get into it. So here's the mindset we thought about when making this, because this is the first tier list that we made like from scratch. We didn't just use a preset.
Yeah.
So, one, we only chose artists that A, we thought were the most relevant for this decade, and B, we thought were representative of the different music genres of that decade. So we're sorry if your favorite artist isn't on here, but we try to just keep it to who were the decade defining artists or the genre defining artists of this time.
Yeah.
And that's what we went with. But also, we're limited to music that we are aware of. So like
A little bit, yeah.
if there's a big artist we missed, then that's our bad. Like for example, we didn't put Iggy Azalea on here. Like even though she had a big year, she had a big I think like a 3-year gap there. But like, compared to the rest of the artists on here, different. So it changes. Again, if we missed your favorite artist, we're sorry. But keep that in mind.
Yep.
2, we are only considering music from 2010 to 2019. So if an artist on this list made an album in 2020, that's good or bad. We're not considering it.
No.
And we're only considering their music from this decade. So if an artist on this list has been around for a while and had really good or really bad music earlier in their career, we're not considering that. We're only considering this decade.
Yep.
So with all that said, what goes into what actually gets you on this tier list? What actually moves you up the ranks? Jason's gonna break it down.
So we've got a bit of a rule set here that we kind of determined was how we were going to base these artists off of, and those rules are here on the screen now for you guys to see. They to culminate where your tier position is going to be, it involves your influence, your popularity, and the quality of your music, as well as a few little factors which we'll touch into when we get to certain people, and just kind of overall. There's a few other little additional factors that we're going to talk about, but these are the main 3, and these are the ones that are really going to influence where you're at. An example would be, let's say there's an artist we really don't think the music's very quality, but they might be super popular or have a ton of influence in their genre. Then that's going to bump them up, and they could still even end up being an S because of that, even if their music isn't necessarily the best or of the most quality compared to others. So that's kind of where we're coming from with this aspect of things. We're basing it off their influence, and like I mentioned, the influence is influence in their genre, right, Storm? That's how we're handling that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, influence in the genre, how when they came onto the scene, did they really solidify a certain style that a lot of other people and other artists started following or started pioneering a little more? Popularity is their social popularity. How popular are they on Twitter? How many records have they sold? How many people do you hear talk about them? Do you hear anybody talk about them, kind of thing? And then the quality of the music is probably a little bit more of the most subjective we really have as an option here. But this is, again, tier lists as a whole are pretty much based on opinion, at least the way we're handling this one. So again, this is all our opinion, but for quality, it is how good is their music, how much of a bop pretty much they are, how much of a banger they can be, and also just the actual quality of the music itself. So are the does it sound good? Is it good to listen to, kind of thing?
Yeah. So again, we're sorry if we hate on your favorite musician, but just remember, again, this is our opinions. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Definitely let us know. how we did on this tier list.
Yeah.
But I think without further ado, we can jump right into
Go
it.
ahead and jump right into it. So the first one we have is Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas. Okay. Now hear me out. Hear me out. You just listened to this long intro about the qualities to get on this tier list. You may be thinking, Black Eyed Peas, they were like really popular in the late 2000s. However, they did drop 1 or 2 albums between 2010 and 2011, and that's kind of mainly what we're going off of here.
Bit.
But man, they're so good. Like they have so many good bops. Like every song they put on, it's just fun. You know what I mean? It's nothing that's gonna like really make you think too much, but it's always a fun time listening to them.
Yeah, they're really quality. Just overall, they have very catchy songs, earworms. A lot of people call them. You know, they really like solidify themselves in your mind and really want you to, and they really make you want to, you know, just kind of stick around with them a little while. I remember Black Eyed Peas, one of their albums was like one of the first albums I ever downloaded on my iPod Nano back in the day.
Yeah.
So, you know, they have a bit of they have a quality about them that really helps push them forward, I think, on this list.
Yeah, their music is super good, and when you factor in the other things, one, they were stupid popular at the time.
Absolutely.
Like you could not listen to the radio and not hear like 3 different Black Eyed Peas songs. Like this is definitely a huge thing. But the only problem is the main reason that's holding them back a bit is that they just dropped off.
Absolutely.
I think it was 2011. Like they just were kind of disappeared.
No one knows.
Fergie left the group and all that. So it was a little bit rough. But I think for when they were there, they're really good. So I feel like they're solid B+ tier.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. I completely agree with that statement. Just solid B+ tier will really kind of solidifies them there. I think they're above average, but they're not fully exceptional, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Man, we're already getting to the heavy ones, dude.
Oof.
You see who that is? That's BTS.
Oh my god. It's so hard for me to see. I could barely see it, but yeah, this is a powerhouse. This is a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Like, wow. Because here's the thing. Like, I don't even like K-pop at all. Like, I don't like it. But you can make the case they are the most popular artist in the world right now.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
They are insane. They have been completely dominating the music world for the past few years now. And yeah, they came on towards the end of the decade, but still, they are just incredible. They're amazing at what they do. They're the best at what they do. I'm pretty sure they're very influential within the K-pop world. I feel like a lot of people are trying to do what they do.
Yeah.
But I don't know that for a fact. You can correct us if we're wrong. But they are just they're in a league of their own right now.
Absolutely. This is a cultural phenomenon like we've never seen. Like it's music that isn't traditionally popular in English speaking languages, in English speaking countries, specifically in America. Americans are very domestic in their music taste. They like their music a certain way, and the English language is kind of what they stick to. So for K-pop and someone from the K-pop genre to blow up like they have is truly exceptional, and they must be doing something right. I personally, I'm not the biggest fan of K-pop. I definitely have heard some songs that I do enjoy, but I don't have any K-pop on any of my playlists, and it's just not something I can really fully sink into. But I can't deny that their songs are catchy and they got some good music.
You hear one BTS song and you know it. Like it's super catchy, super poppy, super fun,
super recognizable.
And like again, they are like, this is like Beatles level mega star. You know what I mean? Like it's whenever
this
they go anywhere,
generation's Beatles for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's insane. So I think there's no way we could put them anywhere but S tier.
If they're not S tier, then you should unsubscribe.
You know? And we're not even BTS stans.
Yeah,
it's just the truth.
It's just the truth. Okay, up next we got the Gorillaz. A little bit of classic action going on here.
Yeah, Gorillaz are kind of tricky to where to put them because they are similar to Black Eyed Peas in that a lot of their really popular music was in the early 2000s, but they've been making music like throughout the decade. They're still there. They're still a big name. They're still quality music. They just dropped an album like a week ago or like something like that.
Yeah,
like, they are very.
There's a very
still
recent
very
album.
much going. But they're just not. They're kind of like in the middle of music fame. Like they're popular. They're good at what they do, but they're not like that upper echelon of of celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be wrong, but within their genre, I don't think a lot of people are doing what they do. They're very unique in what they do.
They are, absolutely, and they definitely have their fans. I feel like, if anything, as much as I don't want to admit this, I feel like they're very niche.
Mm-hmm.
They're extremely popular, especially some of their songs. Like "Feel Good
Mm-hmm.
Inc." is one that comes to mind. Clint Eastwood is another one.
Mm-hmm.
But they have like a niche quality to them, and they don't have as much like name recognition as some of these other people on this list. I'm sure if you ask someone who Beyonce is on the street, they'll know who that is. But if you ask who the Gorillas are, you might get a little bit of a weird answer, especially depending on the demographic.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if any of your like most popular TikTok stars will know more than like two Gorillaz songs. That's just kind of the demographic that they're not really appealing to.
Mm-hmm.
I might be completely off base by saying that, but from my experience, that's kind of what I've heard. But with that being said, their music is beyond quality.
Yeah, it's really good. It's
Yeah.
just there is the knock that a lot of people think they're kind of like degrading over time, like they're kind of losing it as far as their quality. Not everyone feels that way, but that's from what I've heard. People that really like the Gorillaz, that's kind of the general perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, and we are judging this based on their music this decade, I think they're a very solid B tier, but they're not
Yeah.
anything like higher than that based on everything we just said.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like you could argue B plus for sure. Definitely not C though. I think B is a very solid middle ground for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got next one up. Can you see a little better? I changed some things around.
Yeah, so we got good old Meek Mill, the legend himself, the Philadelphia legend. And you know, it's hard to talk about Meek without talking about Drake based on everything that happened there. Because oof, my man, oh man, that's tough. It's a tough look for my guy. But if anyone's bounced back harder, it's definitely Meek. Like this man got bodied by Drake, went to jail, and came back and dropped an amazing album. So it's shout out to Meek Mill. He's really beloved within the rap community. He seems like a great guy. But I just don't think he has the discography that a lot of the artists do on this tier list. Like he has a couple good albums, but I don't think he has like the consistent work over time that's going to get him super high up in the list.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's very influential within the rap game. Like people love Meek, people really like him, but no one really does what he does.
Yeah, they're not really
And,
like trying to mimic him or follow what he's doing as much.
Yeah, and he's definitely popular, but he's not like that upper echelon of popular within rappers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's good. I feel like he's another B tier though. Like he definitely could be better, but we all love Meek.
Yeah.
Shout out to Meek.
I think where would you put them? Where would you put him? Above or below the Gorillaz?
I'd put him below.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I also just want to preface there's kind of for both of our knowledge bases, there's going to be some where Storm's able to talk a little more about some and I'm able to talk a little more about others. So we're going to kind of bounce back and forth between each other. But if you hear one person talking more than the other, it's not because we're being rude or just really want to talk about this artist. It's because one might not have as much knowledge as the other on that person or that or that artist. So,
yeah, exactly.
Just want to clarify that a little bit. But moving on from Meek Mill.
Oh boy. Lil Pump Gucci Gang himself. Oh, he's garbage. Like, listen. Before we get the comments saying, "Oh, you're just old," like you don't like Lil Pump because you don't like new rap, dude. First of all, I'm 23, Jason's 22. Like, we're not old, but it's just like
not at all.
It's just you listen to it and there's nothing there. Like
It's
he doesn't
soulless.
have any unique. He has no unique flows. He has nothing to say on his music. First of all, he is like this. We're not really concerned this much with the tier list, but he has like horrible opinions on things. Like if you look at his Twitter and listen to what he says, you'll lose some brain cells there.
A little bit.
But he's like the poster child for why people don't like rap music.
Yeah.
And I can't argue with it. Like it's bad.
Yeah,
it's real bad.
Like I said before when we were talking about the rules, the type of person they are. When I said specific people, I was talking about Lil Pump.
Yeah, it's tough luck for our guy.
Yeah, as much as he does have his fans, and as much as you guys, if you are a fan of his, you might be angry in the comments, but we just it's there's a lot more that we have to take in account. Like Beyonce's on this list. You know, we can't. Lil Pump can't be in the same tier as Beyonce. You know, it's just there's certain things Lil Pump doesn't tick the boxes for, and that's why he's down there as our first F tier of this tier list. But up next we got Daft Punk, bit of a classic kind of. I'd say they're pretty innovative in their genre.
Yeah,
there.
they are extremely unique and innovative in what they do, and I think that's gonna help them out a lot.
Yeah, something very special.
Yeah, they definitely paved the way for like kind of the techno / dubstep boom that happened in the mid to 2010s. And they're just quality across the board. Like everything they make is super good, and it's just like kind of timeless. It's just
absolutely.
I believe some of their best music was not in this decade.
No.
So it does drive them down a little bit, but we still did get lucky and things like that this decade. So I think they're really good. It's just they don't have the full discography that everyone else does. They only have a few projects.
They have more than some others might, but it's definitely not at a level that we can really, they're not pumping out BTS bangers left and right,
Yeah.
They're still very quality. They're very iconic, very unique, very recognizable. So I'd say A or A plus.
Yeah, I think A works.
Yeah, cool. All right, first 8 tier. We're slowly filling these tiers out, guys. Slowly. All right, I think you got a little more knowledge on this guy than I do. Coming up next year.
So next we got Jesus himself, aka Tame Impala.
Tame Impala.
Oh man,
I gotta be
Tame
honest.
Impala.
When I first saw it written out, I thought it was Tame Impala.
Tamale Impala.
Tamale Impali.
But no, Tame Impala's really good. He definitely has a lot of haters. Like people hate on him for no reason, really. Like just popular music gets hated on. But he's really solid. Most of the albums he made this decade are either pretty solid or really good.
Yeah.
And he's also very unique. Like he has a very, as soon as you hear a Tame Impala song, you're like, yep, that's him. Like he has this very unique quality to him, and it's definitely pretty influential. Like psychedelic music has definitely been making more of a comeback in the past few years, and people like love his music so much so that like Rihanna on one of her albums literally has a whole cover song where she takes his entire song and just sings it, like takes an instrumental and just sings the song.
That's an honor, man.
Yeah, he's really good, and I think he definitely gets a lot of flack for no reason. But he's got bangers. I mean, you can't tell me The Less I Know the Better isn't one of the best songs of the decade. Like it's amazing. And he's just not like super popular. That's the big thing that's holding him
very indie artist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about indie, but he's definitely like kind of that in between, kind of like the Gorillaz.
He's getting up there.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of this one, where he's going to end up being placed, is based off of the quality of the music on this one, more so than any of the popularity or influence ones. But where are you thinking?
I think right above Daft Punk, like in A tier.
Okay,
that works pretty well.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for him too. There we go. All right, what we got up next?
Okay,
Who we looking at here?
The mumble god, I guess you can call him, Kid Cudi himself. Oh man, Kid Cudi has been through it. This has been a interesting decade for Kid Cudi. Came onto the scene booming with Man on the Moon 2. Incredible following from that. Like people loved him, and then he had Speeding Bullet to Heaven, which was, oh man, that was a tough album to get through. That was tough. Oh man, that was brutal. And then he makes the comeback and drops the album with Kanye, Kids See Ghosts, and has this huge career revival and is back better than ever. And he's dropping an album really soon too, in 2020.
It's exciting.
So he's been through a lot. He's really popular, and the biggest thing is he really has influenced a lot in rap, like a lot. Him, Kanye, and Drake you're gonna hear those names a lot for being influential, and he definitely ushered in the kind of like emo rap, like kind of psychedelic but more like sad rap, I guess is the best way to describe
kind of
it.
Relatable rap.
Like definitely normalized that a lot in the culture. And I think he gets a lot of points for that. And his music is just really good. It's super melodic, super catchy. He has some like banger songs if you want them. He has some chill songs if you want them. And he's really versatile and continues to be relevant. So
absolutely,
I
definitely agree.
Killing it.
That's a plus at least.
Yeah, I think he's got to go A+.
Yeah, yeah. I think you could argue S, but I think A+ is a nice solid spot.
Actually, hold on. I think here's the biggest problem with Cudi. That one album was really bad.
Yeah.
Like that was like career-ending bad, and that's why he took like a 3-year break and then came back with Kanye. Like that was bad. So I feel like we should. I think he probably goes A tier.
You think so?
But
above
tough.
these other
like,
two, then yeah.
No, below them. Like that's rough. Like it was bad, dude.
Yikes.
Bad. So
I'd have to go back and listen.
Yeah, it's not perfect by any means, but you know, still a decade-defining artist for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What are we looking at next?
The GOAT, Kendrick Lamar. This man does not miss. He has never missed in his entire life. It's insane.
Yeah.
I know people get annoyed because Kendrick gets tons and tons of praise, but it's just kind of true. Like he's easily, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, the best rapper alive and the best rapper of this decade. Put out 2 near perfect albums, being Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly. Damn is pretty good, even though a lot of people were kind of mixed on Damn. Section 80 was really good. Even his album that's B-sides was amazing. Like it's just, this man is on another level as far as innovation, lyricism, flow, lyrics, whatever you want to do. Kendrick can do it. He does a ton of different stuff with his voice. And like he tells all these stories with his albums and brings all these themes together. It's just, he is one of the best artists of this decade. You can argue he's the best, but yeah. he's on a whole nother level. And he is extremely popular as well. He does influence a lot. People don't try to copy Kendrick because if you do, it's probably not going to work out for you, but
not too well.
He definitely does have a lot of influence in the game. You don't have someone like Jid without Kendrick, you know? So
yeah. Kendrick's definitely up there in popularity. I remember when Humble came out, like that was, you only heard about that song for like a solid week and a half. Like
yeah,
that's all you heard about. So he's absolutely a legend and a mainstay in the genre that he's in, 100%. So where are you putting him?
It's with everything that we do this tier list on, it's hard to make the case that he's more influential, more popular than BTS. I just think that I feel like he is above them solely because he's just the best at what he does. Like almost not undisputed, but as close to undisputed as you can get. Similar to like LeBron in sports, where like people like love to hate LeBron, but it's really hard to deny that he's the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would put him higher than BTS, but that's my bias.
That's your bias a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't see, this is tough because BTS is like the Beatles phenomenon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
While Kendrick isn't necessarily at that level. See, so this is kind of why it's kind of good that we have like different opinions and outlooks here, because I'm not like a massive Kendrick fan. Not that I'm not a fan. I think his music's great. I just don't listen to a lot of his music because that's just not the type of music I listen to all the time. I've heard a lot of his songs and they're all great. They're all phenomenal. I agree with everything Storm said. It's just I'm not as deep into this genre. So this is kind of a weird look here of where we're thinking about putting this, and I wish we had a third person for a tiebreaker. Because it's
I mean,
tough.
you can just put BTS above just because of the criteria we went over.
Yeah, I think that's
fair.
fair.
Kendrick with me is that with BTS, you hear a song, you're like, that's good, and you can listen to it a bunch, but that's it. With Kendrick, you can hear a song and go back to it 2 years later and be like, oh my god, I didn't realize that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then go back 2 more years later and be like, oh my god, that's what he's saying with his album. And like, there's so many layers to it. Not to pull a Shrek meme, but like, you know, there's so much there that it's incredible, you know, whereas with BTS, it's more of just, they're so overwhelmingly present, you know? So it just depends on which one you value more. I mean, they're both S tier, so
yeah,
not that big of a deal, but
they're S tier, but I think they very much share the same spot, if not a little overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to leave it this way for now, but just think of it more like this.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay. Up next. So,
J. Cole, Jermaine, Cole, Young Simba, Mr. Nice Watch, whatever you want to call him. Oh boy. So people are very divided on J. Cole. Some people think he is the best rapper of this decade. Some people think he is the worst. There's a lot of people that are in between. I think he is easily one of the best. I don't think he is the best, but he is very good, and it's hard to deny that. I mean, it's a meme at this point, but he went double platinum with no features. That album
Double
right there on
platinum
my
with no
wall.
features.
It's just a fact. Like, he is a very good rapper, very talented lyrically, very talented sonically. He produces a lot of his music. He's really, really good. And as much as you want to hate on him, there's certain things you can't deny about him. And one is that he's been around this whole decade. He's been dropping very solid projects. He has his lulls every now and then, his like middling music. It's not as banger after banger like Kendrick is or something. But he is extremely good, and there's no signs of slowing down. And he even started his own label, and everyone on his label is pretty good. So
That's a pretty big deal.
yeah, I find it hard to put him anywhere lower than A+. Like, he just doesn't have like that overwhelming, insane good, but he has no like serious misses either.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I think that's a good spot for him. I think our first A+ should go to him there, J. Cole. That's a good idea.
Mhm.
Rihanna.
Oof, you wanna start off with Rihanna?
If the BTS fans weren't after us, we might get some Rihanna fans after us a little bit. Rihanna's influence and popularity is something that you can really talk about, and is something that is very strong and in her favor, but I am not a big fan of her music at all. I think she drops banger after banger, but it's not something I can listen to more than once, or something that I really choose to listen to. I don't personally enjoy her music as much as some other people might. What, Shine Bright Like a Diamond? I can't, man. It's too much for me. It's a little too repetitive, little too poppy, little too much on the ears for me. But I'm not denying her talent. She is absolutely talented, like beyond talented. I cannot deny her talent. I'm not a fan of her music as much as some others might be. I'm not saying she's terrible. I'm not saying I hate her music. It's not my first choice.
Yeah, the most interesting about Rihanna to me is that there is a serious divide on whether or not she has a good voice or not.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, because I don't know if we're gonna have that like throughout the rest of this tier list.
I think she's
Like,
kind of
you
the
know,
only
you
one.
know.
Yeah.
But like you said, like, her popularity is undeniable. She works with so many different artists. She has to be influencing them to some degree. And like, it's not straight up bad. It's just sometimes I feel like her voice gets a little grating.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot. Like, if you're not ready for it, it can mess you up a bit. But I definitely don't think she's bad. I just think she's not like that great. I think she's definitely a bit overhyped as far as like how her fans see her based on what the music actually sounds like. But again, you can't deny the popularity, can't deny how integrated into the industry she is. And you know, she's been around this whole decade. She hasn't made anything that's like garbage, you know?
No,
like, she's just put out very solid projects.
Yeah.
And,
like I said,
she's probably been around for a while.
She's a name you're not gonna never hear. You know, you're gonna hear Rihanna all the time, even when she's done making music. If she ever does stop, you know, she's gonna be around for a long time. It's just our own tastes we're not the biggest fans of. That's kind of where we're at here.
So because of that, I feel like it would be tough to put her anywhere below C+.
Yeah.
But I don't think she goes any higher than that either.
That's a hot take, my guy, and I might have to agree with you.
Yeah, you know. And again, it's our opinion, so there's only
we do just want to preface, like you said, this is our opinion, and as much as she is super popular, we're just not into her music at all. It's just she's just not our taste, unfortunately. Yeah. So if you haven't clicked off the video yet, we're on the next one.
Jason Derulo.
S tier. No.
Cool now. Jason Derulo is just it's interesting because like he has like these uber popular songs,
super,
like just incredibly popular. You cannot you know the songs. Like you don't
Exactly.
even need to hear the name of them. You just know them. As soon as it comes on, you know it. But like I don't think I've ever heard someone like I've never had a conversation like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I listened to a Jason Derulo album. It's just not on that level. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with him. Like he's very popular, and I think he definitely had a lot of influence because he was like dominant in that mid 2010 era with all of his singles, and then he like when he came out that stuff, other artists started to come out with that too. So it's like he definitely has a lot of weight, but then he just kind of like slowly lulled off. Like I haven't heard anything from Jason Derulo
Been
in
a little
years.
while, yeah. I don't
But
remember what
he's
he dropped
definitely been
last.
around for a minute. He's very popular, very influential,
Mhm.
and it's really catchy. Like all of his singles are good. It's just again, I've never heard a whole album or anyone talk about a whole album. From
It's
him,
pretty
so.
much the singles. That's all you
Yeah.
really ever hear. You never really sit down, put on a like an album like Storm said, and really just like jam through it. You kind of either, if you do have the album, you just kind of skip to your favorite songs. You don't listen to too much of it. So he's in a weird spot.
And yeah, I feel like he just goes right above Rihanna in C plus tier.
Okay.
Like he's there, but he definitely doesn't have the weight that any of the artists above him do.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, you wanna talk about her?
I enjoy myself some Lady Gaga. I gotta admit, Lady Gaga's music is unique. Her style, she's kind of moved away from it. She's not as crazy meat dress as she used to be. She's kind of become.
Correct.
She's kind of opening back up to be her own self and not a character anymore. But she's absolutely quality. She's never not put out a bad song, in my opinion. She's got her power ballads. She's got her kind of Euro pop stuff. I gotta look this up real quick because I'm blanking super hard on when Rain on Me by her and Ariana Grande came out. I'm pretty sure it was this year, yeah. So we're not really taking that specific song into account, but I do just want to mention I really enjoy that song. I like the kind of like Euro pop feel that it has. But like Poker Face, Bad Romance, I'm blanking.
Even like Applause,
Applause,
or something, like,
Paparazzi. Like
she's been such a figurehead for so long. Like
absolutely.
it feels weird to think about it. Like how like in the limelight she's been in for so long. Like it's crazy.
Born This Way,
But it's
sorry,
just-
it's popped back in my head.
Yeah, like she just has banger after banger after banger, and she also has an incredible voice. You know what I mean? Like but
Really
this is
talented.
probably one of the first artists on our tier list so far that just like has a incredible natural talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's something to behold for sure. Like no matter how you feel about Lady Gaga, you can't deny how relevant she's been over the
Absolutely.
decade.
Yeah.
So
So that being said, it's I don't think she's any lower than A+.
yeah, I think she definitely goes A+ for sure.
Now, above or below?
I'd put her below, but that's just me.
And that's just you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that one.
For sure?
From a popularity standpoint, I think. Now, Double Platinum with No Features is extremely popular, but I feel like Lady Gaga is kind of a different level of pop, like not level, but
she's
different kind of.
She's definitely next level celebrity.
Yeah.
For sure. Like J. Cole is extremely popular too, but it's not the same. J. Cole's not in A Star Is Born. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah.
Like he's not an American Horror Story. So,
Yeah, so there's certain levels to the popularity, different types.
mhm.
But I think I talked a good amount about that one, so I think you can take this next one.
So Jay-Z, Hova, Young Hov, whatever you want to call him, he's tricky for this decade because obviously you cannot talk about the greatest rappers of all time without at least mentioning Jay-Z. He's done
Yeah.
so much rap. That's a whole nother video. But
Absolutely.
this decade, there's not, as far as like his music, it's not that great. Basically, I'm pretty sure Blueprint 3 came out this decade. That might have been 2009. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was 2011. They had Magna Carta Holy Grail, which was not very good. And then you bounce back with 444, which was really good. So he's kind of all over the place. But the thing about Jay-Z is he is we've been kind of alluding to this. He is that next level otherworldly celebrity
Yeah.
at this point of popularity, where it doesn't matter what he puts out. He's Jay-Z.
Yeah.
It's gonna do numbers. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's gonna
And,
it's gonna top the charts no matter what he
yeah,
does.
and he's also just like extremely influential. Not in the way of like people are copying what Jay-Z does, but more of he's laid the groundwork for every rapper on this.
Very
tier list,
solid
you know?
foundation. Yeah.
So like he's just a staple in rap and music in general. Extremely influential, huge celebrity. But the thing is, his music this decade hasn't been great, so I think that definitely weighs him down. And I don't know if we can put him any higher than B plus tier because that maybe A tier, but
If we were including their whole careers, absolutely S tier. Like,
Oh, yeah.
no way.
Oh, yeah.
But since this is the specific years that we've set as a boundary, he really, yeah, he's just kind of he can't go much higher.
Mhm.
It's just where in A tier though. Do you think top? I'm thinking top.
Yeah, I think top A tier.
Okay, tier. This freaking tier maker website is buggy as hell sometimes, guys. Sorry, it's really hard to work with. All right, you want to take this one as well?
Yeah, so Alicia Keys is kind of similar. She had a lot of amazing songs pre 2010. But going into this decade, she's it's all good. It's just she's not like that. I don't think she's that level of popular that she used to be. Like she's not all over the radio anymore. But she is an incredible singer, though. Like no matter what, she's always gonna have her amazing voice.
Yeah.
And anytime you see her in a feature, you're gonna tune into it.
Extremely
it's always
talented.
gonna be good. It's always gonna be quality. It's just she doesn't have the discography of this decade. Like no one again, she has that problem of like no one talks about an Alicia Keys album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you hear her and you're like, oh, that's really good, but it's not. And she's also not on that level of popularity or on that level of influence to where she's like no one's like, oh man, this person. I'm trying to think of a singer. Like Elisa Cara sounds exactly like Alicia Keys. You know what I mean? Like it's she's kind of in an odd spot, but she is extremely talented. She just doesn't have that that oomph factor, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to place her.
She's in a very interesting spot for what she's put out and compared to the rest of these guys, because that's the tough thing. You can absolutely say that Alicia Keys is really just solidified a spot in the music Hall of Fame. Obviously not the real music Hall of Fame or Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but she's really like put herself in a spot where she's recognizable and extremely iconic. But compared to all these other artists, it's like, where do we put her? It's kind of hard to label her in a spot when you're comparing her to these other ones. And for that, I think she's absolutely no lower than B. I don't know where you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Either B or B plus.
I'm kind of leaning more towards the B plus.
Yeah, that works.
But below Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, woo! We have another powerhouse coming up here.
I mean, I don't.
Beyonce, the Queen Bee. Do we even need to say anything?
I don't think we do. I was about to say, I really don't think we need to say anything. In fact, I think,
Nah, because the thing is, obviously Beyonce fans are extremely intense, but I don't at least within the past 5 years, I don't think she's had that level of insane popularity that BTS is at right now.
That's fair.
But obviously, and we're going to talk about Beyonce. Obviously, she's an incredible singer.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
been around for so long, been doing it forever. Again, has laid the groundwork for a lot of other singers to come through after her, and is still doing it at a super high level right now in 2020. And is just she doesn't have any bad stuff. She doesn't put any bad singles. She doesn't put any bad albums.
Tell me a bad Beyonce song in the comments. I dare you.
Exactly. And then you have amazing stuff. Then she has the huge amazing stuff like Lemonade and whatever else you want to put in that category. But she's just, there's only so much you can say about Beyonce. She's been at the top of the top
for a long time.
For a long time, and she's shown no signs of slowing down. And obviously, it goes without saying, she is otherworldly level of popular, influential, and her music is super quality too. So there's no other place she can go.
Yeah, she's got to stay there. You can't. There's no arguing this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from talented to just as, I would say, from like a voice standpoint, but on a different kind. We've got Adele.
Yeah, I genuinely think Adele is at the top of S tier. Like, I think she is, one, extremely popular. Like, everyone knows who Adele is. Two, I think she has the best voice on this list, hands down. Like, the best
Absolutely
singing talent. Three, she has incredible albums as well. That's the biggest thing about these other artists, especially in the higher part of the list. A lot of times they have really good singles or like one good album. They don't have consistent, amazing stuff, and that's all Adele puts out. Like, it's literally insane.
Adele, remember when Adele was like peak popularity a few years back? She still is peak popularity. I'd say she's slowed down a little bit, but when she was like the thing to listen to, this was before Hello. I'm trying to remember what song it was, or what album it was, but I remember my mom was like clamoring to try to find this album because she was like, I need the Adele album, you know. And we did end up finding it, but like when an Adele single comes out, it's not just the single that's getting the attention. It's that whole disc she's putting out. It's that whole record she's putting out, and it's her level of musicianship and talent and natural, like, just skill and there's other words I can't think of them off the top of my head right now. Her musicality, that's the word I was looking for. She's great. Live performances are amazing. You know, you see clips from all the time. She's just she really is a level that you can't compete with, and I think I have to agree with Storm. She's definitely top. Come on, what are you doing, tier lists? Let's work properly. She's definitely top. I think depending on your taste of music, you could put her below BTS and Beyonce, but from all the criteria, she's consistent even up to this year, even up to 2019. She was consistent, while a few of these other ones were a little behind or were basic just singles. Well, basic's not the word I was looking for. They're basically just singles. Excuse me. So I think that's kind of where she ends up. So yeah. But this is
okay, so throwback. Good old Shawn Kingston.
Shawn Kingston, man. What's he doing here, Storm?
So again, I think he's definitely a victim of, first of all, wasn't he popular in 2007 then dropped off the map? No, Shawn Kingston's been putting out bangers. The only problem is, very similar to Black Eyed Peas, he kind of just dropped off the map in like 2012, but he did have a couple very solid singles, very popular singles at the beginning of the decade. So he kind of just barely makes this list. But the problem is, he has that problem with the Black Eyed Peas, but he doesn't have nearly as many as the Black Eyed Peas do. So it's like, like he's kind of struggling a bit, but we love Shawn Kingston. The man's a legend. Amazing
Great
songs.
guy.
Great guy, but I just don't think, one, he had the staying power, or two, you know, he had the projects or the singles to do it. So I think I feel bad, but he's probably C tier, you know, but I love him. We love him. And
Shawn Kingston.
Shawn Kingston for you.
I mean, it's just I bet you a lot of the younger people watching this video aren't even going to know a Shawn Kingston song.
Yep.
And that's kind of the point. That's kind of why he's C tier.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bruno Mars. I am a fan of.
Yeah. Listen, like, there's a lot of Bruno Mars haters out there.
Here
but
comes
first
the
of all,
takes.
First of all, incredible singer. Second of all, incredibly popular. Third of all, amazing singles. Like, it's just
extremely stylish.
And his albums are good too. He won a bunch of Grammys. Like, it's really hard to argue with Bruno Mars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know he has a lot of haters, but I don't know how you really argue against it. You know? Like,
yeah,
he's incredible.
He's a level that he's at a popularity that you can't really compete with. So I think, where would you put him though? That's the thing, because
I don't think he can go anywhere than S tier.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any bad projects. He's an amazing talent, extremely popular.
But I don't think he's higher than these guys though.
Yeah, I don't think he's higher than anybody else there, but he is incredibly good. Like it's just, um, you know, it's Bruno Mars. Like you know what I mean? It's there's only so much you can say.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Who dat? Who's
So
that right there? I know that
good
face.
old buy you a drink himself, T-Pain.
T-Pain.
Another one of those artists that has definitely suffered from the popped off in the early 2000s bug. But I mean, going into this decade, he did have a lot of very solid songs as well. Did he caught the end, or he got the beginning of the the decade, with some solid singles, and then also kind of just dropped off the map. I mean, me and Jason are biased because we love T-Pain. He does a lot of cool stuff on YouTube and on Twitch and things like that. So it's really cool to see him around.
The thing is,
but,
though, those were kind of more 2020 things, so we can't really consider
Yeah.
that for this list. But we're still going to a little bit.
Yeah, and like we love him, but it's just like, I mean, I think he kind of goes a little, just barely above Shawn Kingston.
Yeah,
you know, like
unfortunately.
he just doesn't have the discography this
Yeah.
decade, you know, and the
Yeah.
relevancy either.
No, unfortunately. But next up,
So me and Jason had like an experience looking up stuff for this tier list because Timbaland, like, here's the thing.
You guys
also-
are gonna experience this with us because there's
Like-
something you're here. It's a little surprising.
It's wild, like how much he affects the music industry. It's crazy, because like when you think about Timbaland, at least for me and a lot of other people that listen to the radio a lot in the early 2000s, you think of like things like Promiscuous, and you think of things like Give It To Me and Bounce, and like all of these really popular songs. But then you get to the 2010s, and you're like, oh, he kind of fell off, because I mean his best albums were in the 2000s. But the thing is, he is easily carried the most by influence in this tier list, because it's not like he made that many songs or that many singles or that many albums this decade that were quality, that is, but he just works on so much stuff. Like,
Yeah,
look up this man's discography. It's insane
look up
how much production he does.
Timbaland Productions, and you will see, like, on Wikipedia, a list of every song he's been involved in, and there are songs you wouldn't even expect to see his name under.
Yeah, it's
like, wow.
it's wild. Like it's so wild. Anywhere from Beyonce to Bryson Tiller to whoever, like Timbaland has some kind of hand in the production, and obviously you don't get there if you're not amazing at what you do.
Nope.
So because of that, I feel like he's got to be at least B tier. But since his actual music doesn't really do much for him, I don't think he can go any higher than that.
Yeah, I think he's like bottom B tier.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Next up though, Justin Timberlake.
So Timbaland to Justin Timberlake. Look at that.
Well, there you go.
Timberlake.
Timberlake.
JT. I mean, he again. We're going through all of these like early 2000s artists like back to back to back. He definitely had a lot of good stuff in the early 2000s, but he's rare in that he continued it into the 2010s. He definitely had a lot of really, really good songs, some really solid projects,
but
and is extremely relevant.
I'm putting an asterisk because that weirdo country album he dropped was terrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
He has the he has a Kid Cudi problem of he's getting brought down by one of his projects. Like it's tragic.
It's really bad. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, if it was a passion project, I'm not trying to hate on it, but man, dude, don't go back to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and some people liked it. Some people definitely enjoyed it, but it was not us.
No,
I'll tell you that. It was not us.
It's not good to listen to.
It's tough. I know he took a little break to focus on acting, and that showed. I'll say that much. So,
man, that drags him hard though.
Yeah, like I think without that, you can make the case that he's like A+ tier, but I think he's probably either high B tier or low B+ tier. I'm thinking.
If I could put him in between, I put him in between. So I'm gonna put him there.
Yeah, sounds good. So, as a Florida man, myself, the next one up, Flo Rida. Again, we're just doing every early 2000s, like every single one of them. Oh my god. So Flo Rida is interesting. He's basically Timbaland if he didn't produce for a bunch of people. Like he was really good in the late 2000s. He had a couple really solid songs in the early in the early 2010s, and then he just dropped off the face of the earth.
I haven't heard about Flo Rida in years.
Yeah, so there's not really much to say. I feel like he goes either low C or D, because like he just
I
like
think honestly
for the singles he had, they weren't even that popular this decade.
Yeah, and a lot of his music for me just feels like it's made to be popular. It's not made to be good.
Yeah,
so
it's like made for the dance floor.
Yeah,
to like play on radio.
Yeah,
and stuff.
And because of that, because of the little like lack of integrity, I guess, for lack of a better term, I'm gonna put him at D.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
that's definitely fair.
All right, little Heidi boy here, David Guetta.
David Guetta, he's really interesting because like he has a lot of really popular songs, but I think he's more known for kind of like Timbaland being involved in a lot of people's music.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, he does have a lot of really popular singles to his name, and also somewhat ushered in the new wave of like kind of techno pop,
like trappy, kind of like electro dance kind of music.
Like kind of like Calvin Harris kind of deal.
Yeah, Avicii level kind of stuff.
Yeah, like he's really solid at what he does. It's just, again, I don't think anyone's like listening to full David Guetta albums, and he's not like super duper popular either. Like he's kind of like in that middle. He's like a bit more popular than someone like the Gorillaz or Tame Impala, but he's just not as super good at what he does as they are. I
think that's fair. I
feel like high B plus is like right above the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was gonna put him. Yeah,
it's definitely not bad by any means. For me, I don't find it super memorable.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I can name a few, but I'm not nearly as many as some of these other artists.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting back to back here. We go from like easy entry level electronic to like blow your eardrums out EDM stuff, but in a good way. I'm not dissing this guy, but Sonny Skrillex.
Yeah, wow. Talk about just blowing up and then blowing up. Like my man Skrillex came and went.
Yeah, he showed, and then he like, wow, where did he go? Who knows?
Like he basically, like, obviously this isn't entirely true, but he basically created a music genre, and then that music genre disappeared.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's kind of the issue with Skrillex, is that whole genre was extremely popular back when it came out, but then all of a sudden it just wasn't the thing anymore. Like I don't even know what caused it. It was, and it obviously had a lot of haters. It had a lot of haters. ERB said it very well. They handled the Skrillex conversation very well. But like, man, did his music just like pioneer something, and then he just took his money and ran.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's not around. Like he still is making music today. He still makes remixes and things like that. But obviously, he's just nowhere near the relevancy he was. But again, he did have a very strong peak. Like he really came in hot, and I think he does get a lot of points for that. But I don't know if we can put him any higher than like. I think he goes like bottom of C plus tier.
Yeah, like because of how hard he dropped is what's really putting him there, and that's kind of
like, if he was just making like consistent albums the rest of the year and like was still pretty popular, I mean, we could probably put him higher, but he just, the relevancy just crazy. It's crazy.
Right. Next up, we got the Biebs.
The Biebs. So
Justin Bieber.
He's also really interesting in that, late 2000s into the 2010s, but he, like, no matter what he does, the biggest thing about Justin Bieber is that he is always culturally relevant. He is always in the limelight,
Mm-hmm.
So I think he does get a lot of points for that on this tier list. And the thing is, obviously, throughout the years, it has been the easiest thing to do to just hate on Justin Bieber. Like, it's so easy. Haha, Justin Bieber sucks, and then people love you for it. But it's his music this decade isn't bad.
He's had some good stuff.
And because we're not counting 2020, we miss out on Yummy and that whole debacle that happened. So not including that. But
it's not a bad song.
Like it's like, he's very popular. He's been relevant this entire decade. Puts out solid songs. It's just you could definitely make the argument that it's also kind of soulless, and like, you're just making music for teen girls or whatever it is.
I think in the beginning he kind of cared, but then he's shown and said that he wanted to retire from music, and then he's had some comebacks, and he's made some good stuff, and his comeback music was really good. Like Sorry is a good song. I enjoy Sorry.
He's definitely has some super catchy songs.
Absolutely. So I don't know, man. Like high B plus.
I think bottom of B is
Bottom of
fine.
B.
Because like when you really look at his music, like this is I think this is our bias coming in and being like he's not that good.
A little bit.
But it's not bad. You know, like, and he's so popular that it boosts him up from C, D.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you know, I just don't think it's, you know, if you're a really big music fan, I don't know if Justin Bieber's gonna be making it on your playlist too much.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
We go from wishy-washy to solid powerhouse that you can't really argue about.
Yeah.
Taylor
like
Swift.
if you want to talk about the most impactful people of this decade, you can't not talk about Taylor Swift. Like it's insane. Like how much she's changed, and then two, how consistently relevant and solid her projects have been.
Yeah, that's the thing. Every song she's put out, even when she flipped genres, has been top charts, guaranteed. Like if Taylor Swift drops a song, look at the top 100 and you'll find it number one.
Yeah, like it's just she's always gonna be there. She's always gonna be super popular. She's always gonna have huge fans. And again, her music is really solid. You can say what you want about her as a person, because there's definitely a lot of criticisms one can make, but like just basing it just off her music and her relevancy, like it's undeniable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
And she hasn't put out anything that bad either. Like I've never heard a bad Taylor Swift project through and through. Just maybe a couple misses on the singles.
Yeah,
but she's again undeniable force in music. So I don't think she can go anywhere other than S tier.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd probably put him at the bottom of S tier.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. She's on a level that you can't really argue with, but you also, looking at who's in S tier, she can't really go much higher than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj. Oh man, wow. There's a lot with Nicki Minaj, but here's the thing, right? Whether or not you like her, whether or not you like her music, one, very popular. Two, changed rap music. Like you do not have Cardi B, you do not have Megan Thee Stallion, some extremely popular musicians today without Nicki Minaj. She paved the way for them. Obviously, there's been female rappers before her. Like obviously, there's Missy Elliott, there's Lauryn Hill, whoever you want to put in that category. But Nicki's she kind of took that and ran with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like to make another sports comparison, if Lauryn Hill and whoever else is like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, Nicki is the Michael Jordan of female rappers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like she made this a very real and relevant and normalized thing.
Yep.
And I think she gets a lot of points for that.
Absolutely.
A lot of influence points for that. And her music is really solid too. She definitely has some misses. Don't get me wrong. She definitely has some misses, but she has some really good projects too. Pink Friday is great. Pink Print is really good too. And you know, like she's always going to be super relevant, always going to have super popular singles. And again, it's just another powerhouse. But I don't know how high she can go because she does have her misses.
Yeah.
But
I think she's probably around. As for this decade, I feel like she can either go below Jay-Z or below J. Cole.
I'd probably put her in between Jay-Z and Tame Impala. I think that's a pretty good place for her.
Okay. That's fair. Absolutely. One Republic, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, One Republic. Wow. They're odd, as in they also like were super popular in the early 2000s and the early 2010s. And it's not that they dropped off the map, they just like fell out of relevancy, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like you just didn't hear from them, even though they kept making music. It's just no one cared. to say it bluntly, like it just, I don't know what happened. Like they just randomly fell off.
It was Kesha, man.
It's tough.
Oh, Kesha was 303. My bad.
Huh?
Kesha was 303, wasn't it? They weren't One Republic, or was that One Republic? I'm blanking so hard on who did the Kesha song.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know. They did stuff with Kesha. I don't remember who it was. I think it was 303.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah, I think they get a lot of points because they had a ton of really popular singles, like really popular singles. It's just they barely made the cutoff for this decade and they kind of fell off. So I think they kind of go like maybe I'm torn between C plus and B for them.
I don't know. I'm fine putting them in C plus. I'm not a fan of these guys.
Dang, I mean, I thought they had some really great songs.
I can't deny their quality. It's not my music. It's not my type of music.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna put them in C if the tier list doesn't want me to. Tier list doesn't want to put them in C at all. There we go. I'm put them there. I think that's fair.
So
wow.
we got an
God, I keep looking at Rihanna there and it's throwing me off, dude. Sorry. Anyway.
We got an interesting one. So, 21 Pilots is one of the most, not controversial as in what they do, but just like people are so divided on them. Like some people love them, some people hate them. A lot of people don't know who they are. Like it's very like all over the place with them. And here's the thing. Like the thing is, one, they're very popular within their own music genre, and you gotta give them points for that.
Absolutely.
And two, people definitely try to be 21 Pilots. There are so many bands that are trying to be 21 Pilots, and it's a little rough. Like, you got to get your own style. And they definitely have carved their own way. And like, yes, they're like alternative and they're rock, but they're punk, and they also do some rap, and
they're kind of a bit of everything.
Stuff. Like they definitely are very unique, and I think they're good. But they just like, I think their fans definitely turn people off to them. Like there's a lot of rabid 21 Pilots fans you'll find all over the internet, and it gets a little overwhelming. But as far as their actual projects, I mean, they're really solid. Blurry Face was a solid album. I know you said you liked the stuff they did with Suicide Squad. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but I think they make really solid music, and they're very relevant, and they're very popular. They're just, again, they're not that like overwhelmingly
I've got
relevant.
I've got some takes about 21 Pilots I'm not going to talk about.
Listen, this is subjective. You say what you want.
They're not for me, man. They're not for me. Hate me all you want. Put, hate comment in the comment section, but man, they're not my style at all. I'm sorry. Like, I understand their popularity. I understand their level of influence in that type of style of music, but I can't listen to 21 Pilots for more than like half a full song.
Yeah,
it's hard for me.
They have a very polarizing style, that's for sure. But I think they have carved their name in this decade for sure.
Absolutely, I can't deny that.
I find it hard to put them any lower than B tier. But I think that they're so like up and down that it's hard to put them any lower, any higher. I think
I'd probably put them here, but I do agree with you. I think they're here.
So, Ludacris again. We're repeating ourselves a lot here, but again, super popular in the early 2000s, like incredibly popular in the early 2000s as a solo artist. And then in the 2010s, he kind of went on this like run of features and just was like constantly featuring on these huge singles. So it's weird because like, again, I don't think anyone in the past decade is like, yo, best rappers alive, Luda. Like, I don't think anyone's saying that. But like it's just so odd, like how well he's clinging to relevancy. Like you can't really deny it. When you look at his discography, it's all there. It's just he doesn't have like, I guess, the staying power within the culture. You know what I mean? Like
that's kind of
people make like best rappers tier lists or best rappers lists or whatever. He doesn't come to mind, but he's there. Like he's around. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think there's a lot there either. As far as like actual rap ability, actual lyrical ability, like he's fine. Like he's just Big Sean with a deeper voice, basically. So like, I feel like he's also C+ tier. He's not bad. Yeah. But there's not a lot of reason to.
Where would you put him in here though?
I'd probably put him at the bottom because I don't think he has the highs that any of those other artists do.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. So Maroon 5, not Adam Levine. Maroon 5. We got to clarify this because Adam Levine would be a different discussion. This is Maroon 5. Maroon 5 has put out a lot of music in this decade. A lot. Yeah. And they're very influential and they're very quality songs. Absolutely. They've got some misses. I gotta say, they got some misses and they've got some stuff that doesn't feel very genuine. There was I'm blanking on the song name. Maybe you know it, Storm, but it like references like an old classical piece in the melody, and it was like about their producer passing away. Unfortunately, may he rest in peace. Or was one of their producers? Was it producer or someone involved in the band? And it was kind of a tribute to him. But the song itself, that song specifically, felt disingenuous and felt like it was a, trying to be a chart topper, but like it didn't feel very respectful in a way. And some people might disagree with me with that, but when you have like la-las and na-nas in a song about like people passing away and having a catchy recognizable melody, it doesn't feel right to me. So that kind of holds a little bit of weight over them in my opinion. But all their other music I think is really good, and I think they have a lot of influence.
Yeah, like
I think they're
thing,
at a
like,
certain level.
if we were considering their whole discography, I think they'd be a bit higher, because I do think their first few albums were actually really good that they came out with.
Yeah.
But after that, basically they've just become like the Big Bang Theory of music. Like they're very popular. There's tons of people that like it.
Yeah.
But like no one's gonna be like, oh man, this is quality Big Bang Theory. Woo! Like, where are the Emmys for this one? Like that and Breaking Bad. Who could tell which one's better? But like, it's so safe and it's fine. But it's just there's not a lot there.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
Not
like,
really.
It's hard to explain, but they're very popular. They've been relevant. They continue to stay relevant, and it's sonically it's fine, but it's just, I think there's a lot to be desired there.
They don't feel they feel like they're trying to be in more recent years. They're trying to be a little more. Let's make music that will hit the charts more than they're like, let's make music to make music. And that's what I don't like about them as much anymore. So that's kind of bringing them down a little bit for me, especially like the song I was mentioning. That really bothered me.
Yeah. So because of that, again, they are very relevant. They're very popular, but I don't think they can go any higher than C+ tier just because of our own subjectivity. And I'd probably put them at bottom of C+ tier, honestly. What can you do?
Speaking of very, very, what's the word? Polarizing, I guess? Because we talked about polarizing for some of these artists a few minutes ago, but Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, this is an interesting case here. Miley Cyrus is a very interesting case. Basically, she's been very popular. She's been in the limelight for quite a while. I think you got to give her credit for that. But man, she has had her misses. Miley Cyrus and her dead pets is not what you want. It is not what you want. It is not a fun listening experience. It's pretty rough. But she does have a lot of natural vocal talent. Like, she's good, and she can be good. She's had her hits, but I just think she's kind of all over the place. You don't really know what you're gonna get with her.
Yeah, she's kind of fallen out of the rebellious phase that she was in a little while ago. So she's kind of going back to what she not necessarily her full roots, but back to kind of not over like pulling for a reaction style of music. So we have to take those into mind, though. We have to take those into mind.
Yeah, and like at the beginning of the decade, she was one of the biggest people on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, you could not go anywhere without reading an article or seeing something about Miley Cyrus. Like, she was in your face, like whether you liked it or not. And because of that, I think she should get a decent amount of credit because like if someone like Skrillex is getting credit for that, I think she should too.
Oh, absolutely.
I just think she's a lot more all over the place with the quality of music. So I'd probably put her in C tier, but it's definitely not like all bad, and she definitely has a lot of talent. But it's just a lot of times there's a lot to be desired.
Yeah. No, we can't deny that she's put out some really great stuff. Like, Wrecking Ball is a great song, and obviously it was one of the top YouTube videos of all time. So she's done a lot of great stuff, but she's in a spot where you can't really compare to a lot of these other artists on this list.
So, speaking of controversial, Chris Brown, Chris Breezy. Here's the thing, right? So we've alluded to this earlier in that with this tier list, we have a lot of things we're considering, but we're trying to separate art and the person. But with this, it's really hard to separate it. Like when he did what he did, he lost a lot of fans, and for good reason, obviously. Whether you agree with it or not, it's certainly questionable, to say the least. But if we're just talking about his music, he's been in the limelight for a long time, and has been doing it for a long time, and has been doing it very well. He definitely has a couple forgettable albums in there, a couple misses, but he's always around. He's always dropping super popular singles, and he has an incredible voice. Like, whether you like him or not, like, you cannot deny the musical talent that he has.
Yeah.
And when he wants to rap, he's a pretty solid rapper too. It's just, he's not making Grammy worthy songs. It's just like, wow, he's a really good singer. He does a great chorus, but that's about it as far as Chris Brown goes.
Yeah, I want to put him in F so bad.
Yeah, it's just his relevancy and I think his talent are undeniable.
But
it's just him as a person is just
that one thing is not something we can really tolerate.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
So I feel like I kind of want to put him in D tier, just because I think those two things are so incredibly overwhelming that it's hard to put him in F. Like, he's not on the same level as Lil Pump at all. But like, personality wise, yes.
Yeah.
But,
oh yeah.
Musically, he does have talent for sure. But
That's I can see that. Yeah, I don't like him.
It's fair.
Like him.
It's fair. So again, speaking of polarizing,
Kanye West.
Kanye West. Here's the thing.
West.
Okay. So again, like we said, we're trying not to consider personality stuff. Kanye has done a lot of questionable stuff.
Kanye
thing
is
a
hostile
lot of
name
it is
for the
very
wrong reason.
recent. A lot of it is very recent.
Yeah.
Between 2020 and late 2019. So we're not like super considering all these rants and things he's been going on, these very questionable takes he has on things. But when you look at Kanye's music, regardless if you're a big fan of it or not, it is otherworldly, unique, influential. Like, people throw around the term genius a lot, but I think it really fits with Kanye as far as his music. It is insane. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, a lot of people consider it to be the best album of the decade, and I kind of agree. Like, it's incredible. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I'm meaning to get the vinyl of it. I'm trying to, but it's that 808s and Heartbreak. Wait, hold on. That was 2008. Never mind. Can't consider that. But he just, he, whether it's Yeezus or Life of Pablo or Kids See Ghosts, he constantly is relevant. He is constantly dropping music, and he's constantly at the top of his game and constantly reinventing himself, and that's really hard to do. So I find it really hard to put him anywhere lower than A+, maybe even S tier. But he does have his misses. A lot of people consider Yeezus to be his worst album. Even though I do think there's a lot of interesting stuff he does there, and he has some really solid songs. But, also he has a lot of questionable things he does, not just in his music, but what he does as a person.
A little bit.
So I think A+ tier, like top of A+ tier is where he
I think that's absolutely fair.
Musically, he's just on a whole nother level.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot deny the influence that Kanye West has had on the music industry, let alone his genre.
So that's Kanye for you. But Tyga. Oh, Tyga. He oh boy. He's so just fine. But like, not in the Maroon 5 way of like safe. He's fine as in he's just like he's just like a rapper. You know what I mean? Like, no one, like, at least to my knowledge, no one's like, yo, best rappers in the game,
Tyga.
Like it's just, like, why? Like, he reminds me so much of just like, if you want to make it as a rapper, if Tyga could do it, you could do it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not great, but he does have some really popular singles. He's here for a reason. His album, I'm totally blanking on what it's called. I think it might have been a self-titled album, but his album with all the gold and all that was a very solid album. He has a lot of very popular songs. I mean, he dated Kylie Jenner for quite a while, so I mean, you got to get points for that. You got to be doing something right to be.
If you're getting noticed by Kylie Jenner.
I just think it's super low brow, and it's just like, it's there. I don't know why you'd pick it over anything else. Especially like as the decade goes on, I think he gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
But he does have a lot of singles. He's popular for a reason, and he has a lot of good fans. So it's hard to deny that. But I don't think he's influencing anybody, and I don't think he's on that same level of celebrity as most people on this list. So yeah, I think C or D tier is more than fine for Tyga. You know.
Would you say he's below Shawn Kingston, or would you say he's above Miley Cyrus though, and from like a popularity
I'd say
standpoint?
I'd say he's in between T-Pain and Shawn Kingston.
Okay,
You know?
I think that's a fair spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, but
Speaking of Kylie Jenner,
speaking of Kylie Jenner, I swear we didn't this on purpose. Travis Scott, the Travis Scott meal himself.
I had it. I had the Travie Patty. It was a McDonald's burger. That is exactly what it was.
I mean, points for originality there. But here's the thing: whether you like Travis Scott's music or not, he is again extremely popular in what he does, extremely successful at what he does, and he's extremely influential. No one was doing what Travis Scott does until Travis Scott started doing it. Like, obviously autotune existed, but not to this level. You know what I mean? Like, he really started this whole, him and the Migos, who we'll get to, kind of started this whole new wave of rap, and you can't give him enough credit for that. No. And he's a good rapper on top of that. His song's really good. And even with that, he's still innovating. Astro World was a great album.
Yeah.
Birds in the Trap, or whatever it's called, was a great album. Rodeo, a lot of people say that's his best album. Like, he's been doing it this whole decade. He's very good. And even though I'm not even the biggest Travis Scott fan, like, he's not going to be on my wall, but he's one of the best artists out there. You know what I mean? He's one of the most influential.
Absolutely. And as much as it is kind of cringy, for lack of a better term to say it, he had his own concert in Fortnite. Like, that's like, Fortnite is the biggest video game phenomenon in a long time. And to have, a deal on the same level as something like the Avengers it's got to speak for something,
Yeah, he's up there. Like, I think he's right next to Kanye, on the tier list. I just think Kanye musically is a bit better, but Travis is just otherworldly successful in everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
So he's there for a reason. But moving on, though, R.I.P.
Rest in peace. Absolutely rest in peace.
Oh, man. Obviously, it's tragic what happened to Mac Miller, but I think there's a silver lining here. I think a lot of people didn't give Mac a chance while he was around. A lot of people wrote him off. They're just, he's just a white rapper. He's fine. But his music is really good. Like,
absolutely.
The thing is, his early music definitely deserves the criticism it got. It was very borderline cultural appropriation. It was very just like, woo, I'm a white guy that parties. Yay. Aren't I great? But the thing with Mac is he's in the debate for most improved artist of the decade. Like, he constantly was improving, constantly was getting better and better. Sonically, his production was getting insane. His lyrics were getting really good. His wordplay, his metaphors, like, he's just really, really good. Yeah. Like Mac Miller, it's so sad that he had to go the way he did. But I just think, if you listen to his most recent 3 or 4 albums, you will not regret it at all.
No.
I think he's really good. I just don't think he has, I don't think he has the influence or the popularity that a lot of the people at the top of this list do.
Unfortunately, no, but he is a very special artist for sure. Storm showed me this, and I highly recommend you guys go listen to it. It's about 17 minutes, NPR Tiny Desk concert, Mac Miller. Please just go look that up.
It's really good.
If you
want to know about Mac Miller, watch that.
I recommend you pause this video and go watch that. I'm being honest. It's really, really good. His personality really comes through in there, and the music is like, it's really good.
So I think because that, I think he's in between Nicki and Tame Impala, just because he wasn't influencing too much, and he wasn't as popular as the people at the top.
But his quality of music,
it's quality, and
very
he's
special.
improved a lot. So
yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to Mac Miller.
Yeah.
So Usher coming up. Listen, again, we've been saying it a lot, but it's true. A lot of artists on this list popped off in the early 2000s. But I mean, Usher just he's just kind of an icon at this point. Like, he's kind of.
I mean, that's an extremely recognizable face,
Yeah, extremely recognizable, extremely prevalent. It's just, this decade wasn't his decade at all. He was definitely 2000s for him. But I mean, he did have some very solid singles. OMG is one of the biggest songs of the decade, and you don't have that without him. He's just been like the club singer forever. You know what I mean? So he doesn't even need to make any more music. He just keep doing his oldies, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be chilling.
So he's definitely an icon. He's paved his way. It's just this decade he wasn't doing too much.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I feel like he's just kind of in B tier, maybe C+ tier. Probably C+ tier actually. Just because he hasn't done a lot this decade.
Yeah, this decade. Yeah.
But I think for what he does, it's good.
He's definitely top of C+ though.
Yeah, for sure. So, my boy, Tyler the Creator. I mean, I'm biased. I literally have 2 of his albums behind me. Love him. Also, another artist that is definitely one of the most improved. Tyler's early stuff. Woo! It's a lot. I enjoyed it. But a lot of questionable lyrics going on there, a lot of interesting imagery, definitely a lot to take in. But Tyler has just consistently gotten better and better as the years go on. And for someone that got so popular so young, like with all of his friends, it's really impressive to see what he's done. And I think he made 2 of some of the best rap albums of the decade, being Igor and Flower Boy. Like, they're both insanely good. He's got a lot of great artists that he works with. He does all his own clothes and all that. Like, he's a one-man mogul, and he's put his stamp on this decade for sure. And I want to see what he does in the future.
Yeah.
It's just the problem with him is that a lot of his best stuff came at the end of the decade. Kind of started slow.
Yeah.
So I think he definitely gets held back by that, and he's becoming a lot like very influential, and especially on the younger generation of artists now, and like younger rappers definitely take a lot from Tyler, so he gets a lot of points there. He's just not as popular as the top of the top here. But just pure music quality, really good. It's just, his earlier work I think holds him back a bit. So I think he's very solidly an A tier.
Oh yeah, I can't deny it. Where would you put him in A tier though?
I'd probably put him in between Mac and Tame Impala. I think it's a good place.
I think that's a fair spot for him, yeah. Hey, what's Chris Hemsworth doing on this tier list?
It's so hard to see. But yeah, 303. Like, wow. What a time to be alive. So again, extremely popular in the early 2000s, but even they were pretty popular at the beginning of this decade though, to be fair to them. They definitely had a big run. But I don't know, how would you describe their music? Like, it's really interesting.
I like I've never been the biggest fan of 303, so I see him as like I can't even like I don't know how to describe their music, because it's like poppy.
Like it feels like if Panic at the Disco just went full pop.
Yeah,
like it's so odd, but like it worked. Like they were super popular for a long time. They had a lot of some of the biggest hits of the decade. It's just, again, they fell off like a couple years into the decade. So
a little bit.
They're definitely they peaked a little early, but for what they did, they're really good at it. It's just I liked it as a kid, but as I grew up, I'm like, what is this?
Why would I listen to this?
So, but again, I mean, kids are super impactful when you market to them. So, props to what they did, but they just didn't have that staying power.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think that's basically what the C+ tier is, besides Rihanna.
A little bit, yeah. I'm kind of in the C tier for these guys.
Yeah, I don't think they're as good as the people in the C tier, but I put Miley Cyrus above them.
Yeah,
honestly.
actually, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Going from who to who, Selena Gomez.
Wizard of Waverly Place.
The one and only.
Yeah, she's interesting. Like she hasn't dropped like a ton of music this decade, but she has been extremely relevant, and she is extremely popular. Like when she puts stuff out, people like it, and it's weird. It's kind of similar to Rihanna in that like it's not bad, but it's not like super good either.
You really gotta. It's kind of, you either hate her or you don't.
Yeah, like she just, to me at least, she doesn't seem very distinct or like very unique.
She's not she's super talented, and she's not nearly as talented as Adele ever will be. But she's also not like talentless like Lil Pump, you know.
Yeah.
So
Like it's she's kind of in this weird spot, but the thing is she is extremely relevant though. Like she's
yeah,
always, whenever she puts something out, people love it.
yeah.
And it's not bad. Like she doesn't have any huge misses either. You know,
No,
she's
I've always
just
enjoyed Selena Gomez's songs.
You know, can't keep my hands to myself
It
slaps.
does.
That
It
song is
really
good.
does.
So I feel like she's like maybe top C plus, low B. What do you think?
I say low B.
Okay.
I'm gonna say low B.
Oh boy.
DJ
Listen.
Khaled.
God. Oh, I hate DJ Khaled so much. He's such a he's such like a mighty bean. Like, look at this guy. Like, I'm not a fan.
Did you call him a mighty bean?
Dude, look at him. Like, God, he looks. I don't even know. He looks like he never left Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You know what I mean? Like, he just stayed there. Like, I hate him.
Let him
like,
have it, bro.
Like, okay, if we're gonna, okay, so Khaled's interesting because he's the most unique artist on this list because he doesn't do anything. Like he does. He produces the songs, but that's it. But the thing is,
And
with
like
someone like Timbaland, he's constantly producing, but you'll never know because he's just doing it and that's it. DJ Khaled loves to act like he's the main star here.
Yeah.
That he's like,
you
he's
know
this
when DJ
godlike
Khaled's on a
artist,
song. DJ
and it's
Khaled.
so annoying. Like, I hate it. Like, it just feels like a fraud. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Plus, he's notoriously he is constantly complaining about his songs not being more popular than they are, and he is very popular. They get a lot of numbers. They're on the billboards constantly. But it's just he always is like so greedy about it, and I can't stand it. Like, I have so much negative bias towards DJ Khaled. It's ridiculous.
No, it's definitely fair. He's got massive ego. Like, someone needs to take a pin to his air balloon and pop it.
It's insane. Like, it just he's and then when he gets all these huge artists on his songs to get him to #1 charts, and then their songs aren't even that good. Like, they're just phoning it in on like all of his songs.
Yeah.
Like, it's so whack. Like, I am so against DJ Khaled as an idea. It's not even the music itself that's that bad. It's just him, you know. Like,
yeah, he's
just
not a good look.
Not a good look at all. Like, I want to put him bottom of F tier. Like, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
I mean, personality wise, I think he's a little better than Lil Pump.
Yeah, I mean, like, because when he first like released his Snapchat, people loved DJ Khaled. You know, like Major Key, like all that stuff, and it was fun. Like, I liked it too because I didn't know about it, so I was like, "What? This guy's so funny, hardy har." Then you realize this is his whole personality. Like, he's not doing a character. Like, this is just him, and it's so annoying. Like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't like DJ Khaled.
You know, honestly, all the sentiments Storm just said, I echo.
God.
He's a dude.
But moving on, going to a very different vibe, I guess is the best word, is Sara Bareilles.
Sara Bareilles.
I mean, she's
Sarah
solid.
do a barrel roll.
Sarah do a barrel. She's just like, she's quality.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
She's not, like, she's one of the names on here where you're going to look at it and be like, who is that? But then you see her songs, you're like, oh, it's that girl. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
she has a lot of good music. It's very quality, a lot of good projects, but it's not at the same level that the top of this list is. You know what I mean? Like, she's not as relevant as most of these artists are. She's not as influential. But, you know, the quality is there. It's just, and she's been doing it for a while too. And she has the singles, but, you know, she's just not the presence that anyone else is here.
Yeah, you like Storm said, you recognize her by her songs, not by her brand or her face.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like a major stan, but if you're a major stan, then obviously, you know, that's you obviously know. It's just kind of the level that she's at.
I'd put her in between like Justin Bieber and Timbaland, honestly. I think she's very solid. Very smack in the middle. You know?
Absolutely. She's probably like average the artist.
Yeah, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, not at all.
So,
Lady Antebellum.
Lady A, as they changed their name.
That's right, they did.
Listen,
Forgot about that.
they have a lot of really popular songs. However,
Just because they're popular
I'm
doesn't mean
super
they're good.
biased. Huh?
Just because they're popular doesn't mean they're good.
That's true, but I mean, it's we're considering it for everybody else. We're gonna consider it for them.
I know.
They're extremely popular, but I can't do it. Like, it's just country as a whole is a complete turnoff for me. But theirs in particular is just does not sound good to me. But that's just me. Obviously, they wouldn't be as popular they are if people didn't like it. Like, it is undeniable. They have like a top 5 single of the decade. You know, like
I guess
they're there. But it's not for me. It's not for Jason. But it could be it for you.
Man, it's a quarter after 1, and I don't want them. I don't need them.
So, I mean, I think I don't know where to put them.
I don't either.
It'd just be disrespectful to put them anywhere below C. But, like, based on their popularity and their relevancy over the decade, they gotta be at least C+.
I'm thinking below Maroon 5.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think
that's fine.
Just from a quality and our own opinion standpoint, they can't go much higher than that.
Yeah.
Mac DeMarco is a name I hadn't heard until you've talked about him.
Yeah, so I would like we said at the beginning, we're trying to include a decent amount of music genre variety here, and Mac is kind of our indie artist rep. I mean, a lot of people will probably disagree because he's like, oh, they're so popular, or he's so popular that he's not indie anymore. But I mean, he's kind of the face of indie music at this point. And his music is really good. He has a lot of very, very, very solid projects that he's been dropping throughout the decade.
Great stuff.
And some people consider it classics. I don't know about that, but I do think it's really good. At least like 8 out of 10 projects across the board.
Yeah.
And his instrumentals are great. The guitars are super melodic. He has a very calming voice, super chill music, and it's really nice. It's just he doesn't have the relevancy that the other people do on this list. It's just but he is influential within indie music. There are so many people who are trying to be the next Mac DeMarco, and it's just not working. But for what he does, he's one of the best, if not the best at it. It's just he's not on that same level that everyone else in this tier list is.
No.
So,
unfortunately, but he's got great stuff. Look him up if you never heard of him. You're not gonna regret it.
So I feel like he's high B, maybe low B plus, but I don't know.
I really like his music, so I'll be generous on his set.
Yeah, I really like him too.
We go from indie and really good to beyond popular, and why?
Yeah, so Imagine Dragons. Man, you go first on this one because I'm trying to think about how I want to say it.
Where's the soul, man? They're soulless. It's repetitive. It's made to hit the charts. It's not. It's so engineered, man. There's no energy put into it other than the electricity needed to run the digital audio workspace required to make their music. There's nothing. They're popular for a reason because it's engineered that way. But man, dude, I don't what? Why? It's just soulless. It's so empty. It's a hollow shell of what it could be. It's
sonically, it sounds good, and they're super popular. But they're basically the normal Cheerios of this list. You know what I mean? Obviously, the regular Cheerios, a ton of people buy them, and it's there. But why would you pick that over any other cereal that you can have? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would you want that? It's so lowest common denominator quality and soul, as you put it, it's hard to put them very high. Man. But they are super popular. They're basically they're like Maroon 5 without the seasoning. It's just
so a whiter Maroon 5.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's not what you want. But I mean,
no.
They're there. They exist. They're popular. So I feel like because of their popularity, we gotta put them in at least C tier. But man,
I think over there.
There's so many better options.
Popularity wise, it's the only reason they're above any of these other guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, Pink. I enjoy Pink.
Yeah, Pink's cool. She's I think she kind of popped off like from about 2010 to like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
I mean, she still puts out music now. She does do a lot of features, but I mean, she's not the same name that she was before. Like early 2010s, it's like, yo, Pink is on this song. Like
Pink?
this is about to be all over the radio.
Yeah.
But now it's like
Pink?
Pink is on the song. What is she doing?
Where'd she
You know
come
what I mean?
from? I haven't heard from Pink since that one song, you know? She's
You
got
know,
great
I-
stuff, but she just doesn't have the staying power, and she's not like the most popular, not the most popular, not the most talented. She's talented as hell, don't get me wrong, but she's not the most talented. And then her voice is also pretty differentiating. She's a very distinct voice.
It's definitely like people either love or hate Pink.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, she just doesn't have the staying power. She doesn't have the discography to hang with everyone else on this list. But I mean, she's not bad by
No.
any means. Like I feel like she's a very solid B tier. She has the singles, she has the features, but you know, she's just kind of there. She kind of fell off.
I think she's bottom of V though. That's the thing. Like I can't put her higher than any of these guys.
I agree.
All right. So next up, we've got Brockhampton. Which,
Brocky Hampton.
Brock's,
Big fan of Brock.
Brock's
Not
Hampton,
so much Hampton.
one of the best hotels I've stayed in.
The best. Their morning breakfasts are amazing. But
Yeah,
Brockhampton's really good. I'm super biased. Like you could see in the background, I have one of their albums hanging up. I love Brockhampton so much. I think almost everything they put out is quality. It's just really, really good. And they blew up out of nowhere too. Like no one
Absolutely.
knew who Brockhampton was before 2017. They dropped 3 albums in 2017 that were all amazing. And now they're really huge. But I think the biggest thing about Brockhampton is that they really came on strong towards the end of the decade, and even then they're still not nearly as popular as the people that are in the top of this list, you know.
Yeah, I think if anything, they've got maybe a couple more years. If they're going to end up being as popular as some of the other people, I think they've got maybe a couple more years until that hits. They just haven't really hit the mainstream yet. They haven't had that like #1 top chart topper, you know. Like
Yeah, exactly.
there just hasn't been.
They don't have those Billboard singles.
Exactly. There hasn't been quite as much reach as some of the others. That being said, though, Storm introduced me to Brockhampton, and man, they got good music. Like if you guys haven't heard of Brockhampton and we're introducing them to you, congratulations, you just found one of your new favorite artists.
Yeah, they're super good. They're really diverse. Like a lot of versatility there. The only thing that I know a lot of people hold against them is that they kicked out one of their members early 2018 or 2019. I can't remember because of some sexual allegations going on. So I know a lot of people feel that once he left, it hasn't really been the same. Like their music's different, and it definitely is different. But I still think it's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's changed enough to warrant a whole tier drop at all.
Yeah, and the thing is, like even in this small time, they still have influenced a good amount so far. Like they have a lot of kind of experimental music, and I've like in the past 2 years since they blew up, there's been groups to come out that everyone compares them to Brockhampton because they're a rap ensemble.
Yeah.
Like 99 Neighbors or even Injury Reserve that was there before Brockhampton, but people compare them to Brockhampton now.
It just shows
they've made such an impact.
their impact. Yeah. So where would you say you'd put them on the tier list then?
Man, I love them, but I don't think they can go any higher than B plus just because of their popularity.
Their popularity at this point, yeah. Where would you put them
really.
in B plus though? Would you put them at the end, above?
And I
one?
put them like right between Alicia Keys and Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, okay, cool. I think that's a good spot for them. We got B.o.B, right?
Flat earther himself.
I can't believe that, bro. When that came out,
my God.
man, his career ended. Just
Yeah,
done.
I mean, his career was already on the ropes when that happened.
That didn't help.
But here's the thing about B.o.B. is that he had 2 really good albums this decade though, or like really solid albums and albums that did really well on the charts. Like he was really popular when he first came out. He had Bruno Mars and a couple songs that blew up, and like he was a really solid rapper.
Yeah.
It's just he dropped off
Absolutely.
the face of the flat earth apparently. So, and he made one of the worst songs in the decade being Flat Earth, talking about, or Flatline is what it was called, talking about Flat Earth.
Yeah.
It's oh man, it's tough.
Not what you
It's
want.
not what you want. It's not what you want at all. So I don't know. I don't think we could. I think he's probably C tier, just because he did have a good run, but like, I think he's just barely C tier.
Yeah. You can't go any higher than our boy Shawn Kingston.
Shout out Shawn Kingston. I love him.
He's not a flat earther, from what we know.
No, from what we know.
If we had a whole tier list dedicated to who's a flat earther or not, it would be everybody, and then B.o.B on his own.
There's Kyrie Irving, who's a popular basketball player, as a flat earther as well.
Really?
It's not what you want either.
No,
but
not at all. Anyway, enough clown about B.o.B. Frank Ocean.
Listen.
I'm listening, bro. Exclamation point,
Ocean,
listen.
In my opinion, is the best artist of the decade. Like, he's so amazing. It's insane. Like, vocally, he's the same, or he's just below Adele, Beyonce as far as vocals, but he's just up there. He's amazing. His songs, like, just they take you to a certain place in time. You know, like, he has those kind of music that it's comparable to like clocks and stuff that'll make you think of things that haven't happened to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's so atmospheric. It's so like raw. It's so good. Like, it's so quality. It's insane. The only thing is, he's only dropped 2 projects this decade, and they're super far apart. He barely ever drops music, but when he does, it's incredible. Like, it's so good. I can't even put it into words. Like, it's just wild. And he's really popular too. Like, he has his big singles, especially with his album Channel Orange, hit a lot of like bigger singles then, whereas Blonde was more of like, you know, an experience than anything. But you know, you don't get to work with Jay-Z and Beyonce if you're not pretty good. You know what I mean?
You gotta be a certain echelon, you know. And Frank,
I think he's easy S tier. Just I don't think he's like the top because he doesn't have that straight popularity that the other people do. But he is really popular. And he is very influential as well.
I was gonna say that I don't think he holds the popularity level as some of the other people in S tier, really by much at all. So it's kind of struggling where to put him. I kind of want to put him here.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good.
I think that's good, even though Taylor, I think, is arguably more popular. I think it's
definitely more popular.
I think it's just kind of a vocal talent point at this standpoint here.
Yeah, and they're both very vocally talented. It's just Frank is just so good in every facet of music.
Yeah,
you know, whereas, you know, Taylor's got a huge team behind what she does.
Yeah,
so it's just he's like Frank's got to be the most talented person on this list. Like, it's. Definitely. I mean, Adele's pretty close too, but
yeah, it's definitely a tie between these. Like, I'd say 3 here, vocally wise. Yeah, I'd say these 3.
They're insane. They're another level.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we got Lorde. Lorde is an interesting decision. I used to jam out all the time to Lorde's music because she's great. I think it was, I think it was a Smosh video. Really just kind of out of nowhere, really hit the nail on the head with Lorde, and wait,
hold on. Are we talking food battle Smosh? Are we talking like?
I don't. It might have been kind of. I think it might have been right before Anthony left. I think it was one of those Smosh videos. It was like an earlier Smosh video when Lorde was in her prime, whatever year that was. It was. I think they did like every musical artist ever, or musical artists like impressions or something. I don't remember exactly what the video is. I'm pretty sure it was a Smosh video, and they hit the nail on the head really well. And the video had, I think it was Ian or someone was sitting down in like a Lorde-esque set, and he took 2 hits of a cigarette, and then he went to go take a third, and the cigarette was gone. So their joke was you take a couple hits and then you disappear. And honestly, yeah, that was the most accurate representation of Lorde I think I've ever seen in any form of media ever.
Yeah, I mean, she's just really quality, you know? Like,
yeah.
She has this weird mix of like, I feel like a lot of the people at the top of this list, you're either super talented but not popular, or very popular but there's not a lot of soul behind what you do. And she has like a very solid mix of both.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, she was super popular and with great soul, and then she kind of declined, and she still kept the soul there, but she kind of declined in popularity a bit. So I think that kind of puts her in a different level of tier. If we were talking about her at her peak, S tier, easy. Mm-hmm. I'd say S tier, easy, maybe A+, you could argue. But now, I'd say probably B+.
I think she's like just below Kid Cudi. Like, I think she just barely makes A tier, because she's still really good. She's still around.
Yeah,
it's just
true.
Not as prevalent.
That's fair. I guess, yeah. That makes sense. The old popularity definitely helps bolster that a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm not bashing her at all. Like, in absolutely no way am I bashing her. I love Lorde. Lorde's great. I'm disappointed not that she's not as forefront as she used to be. But
Yeah.
if but maybe I'm just not digging deep enough. But then again, should I have to dig? That's the real question.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Anyway, Weekend, which is what we're recording this on.
Heyo. Dude, The Weeknd is like I've been on a journey with him. Like I used to hate him and his music. I was like, this dude's hair is whack. What he sings about is whack. It's way too sexual. If I wanted porn, I just look it up. Like I don't need all that. Like, exactly. It was a lot. But he's really good. Like even back then when I didn't enjoy it, it was still quality. And now it's gotten better and better, and he's gotten more popular and more popular. And like he just continues to improve. And like he changes his style a lot, like with each project, but he still has that same like Weekend flair to it.
Absolutely.
And he's
Blinding Lights is absolutely, that came out like late 2019, I think. So we're kind of barely counting it. Or no, we looked it up. Which one was it? Wasn't it late 2019? It was like December or November 2019.
Yeah, it was very late.
Yeah, so we're like barely counting it because it kind of blew up in like March-ish 2020 because of TikTok. Anyway, it's very much an 80s throwback. Like it sounds like an 80s song, but like stereotypical 80s, like the media's representation of the 80s, but it also still has the Weeknd feel. Like it feels like a Weeknd song. It's not, he's not imitating like Aha. He's not imitating, I'm blanking on a couple others. He's not imitating Duran Duran. He's like paying homage to those old styles, but he's also still got his own flair.
Exactly.
I think that's really cool, and I think you didn't like his old music, but I have always enjoyed The Weeknd's music. Yes, it was very overtly sexual, but I always thought it was great music. I really like it. There's also a reason our friend Kurt loves him. So, he's
shout out to Kurt.
Shout out to Kurt. But
he's super good, like all around. Like I feel like at this point in his career, especially now, like if you're hating on The Weeknd, you're kind of just hating at this point.
You're hating on something that's popular.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like to use the term hating lightly because I do think it gets thrown around when people are just having genuine criticisms of something.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think his talent and his popularity and his influence is undeniable at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I'd say A+.
I think
maybe
I think it's either top of A+ or low S tier. It's got to be there though. I don't know where.
I don't know where else.
Actually, top of A+ feels right.
Yeah, I'm thinking after Kanye though. I don't think he goes.
Yeah, it's just
Kanye.
I would actually put him above Kanye just because Kanye has had his misses this decade.
True.
Like we didn't talk about it much when we were talking about Kanye, but his most recent album, Jesus is King, was, and then Yeezus wasn't great either. So
okay. We'll swap them around a little bit if the tier list lets me. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, speaking of vocal talent, Sia. Wow, can this woman sing? Holy cow!
It's incredible. What
Absolutely.
you can do on the mic. It's
like
ridiculous.
I don't think I've ever been able to fully understand the level of talent she has. Like it's her vocal range is incredible. Her style is hypnotic. It's really weird. She's very much the like Lady Gaga of the younger generation that didn't have old Lady Gaga. In the fact that she's like hiding her face until recently. She's got like weird music videos with like I don't remember the name of the song, but she made a song and the music video is Shia LaBeouf and the girl from Chandelier, who was a girl on Dance Moms, by the way, for those of you guys that have seen that show. And she and Shia LaBeouf are like dancing around and like acting like animals in this cage, and they're like freaking out and like chasing each other and like fighting but not. And there's like so many different interpretations you can take from that music video. And I think that was the point. I think that was the point of the music video, is there was no distinct determination of what she was meant in her vision. But she's such like Sia's such a creature and like a character. It's really like awe-inspiring.
I feel like she's just like the definition of a creative.
Exactly.
Like there's so much she brings to the table. Not even just her pure vocal talent, but everything that goes into her music.
Yeah,
is really good.
Very
and
interpretive.
She had, extremely interpretive, very artistic, and she had the popularity too. Like I don't think she's as popular as she used to be, But there was a stretch there, like at least a 2-3 year stretch, where she was like at the top.
Absolutely.
Of a lot of the charts. So
Yeah.
she's incredible in a lot of different ways.
I think I'm saying bottom of S.
The thing is, I don't think she has the influence. I don't think she has the longevity of popularity that all
You
of
think
those
so?
do. Like,
I don't know.
I think she's like, I think she's probably in between Weeknd and Kanye.
I think you know
like,
that's fair. That's fair. I think it might be my
like,
bias talking a little bit to get her to S.
Yeah. Like she hasn't put out. That's the thing. That's the biggest thing of why I'm putting her over on you, Kanye. Because again, I'm the biggest Kanye fan you'll find, but she hasn't put out anything straight up bad, and Kanye has done that multiple times.
It's an absolutely valid point.
You know, that's shout out to
I'll take the bias out of my observation, but I do think you guys should go watch some Sia music videos, and if you ever want to feel inspired. All right, so weirdly enough, I think you might know a little bit more about this next one than me.
Yes. Oh, it's shocking enough. Rae Jepsen is up, and she has had such a interesting career trajectory, and like a difference in public perception for her, because obviously when she first came out with Call Me Maybe, so many people despised her for that song, and like just because it's a fun pop song, and like obviously it was getting played a lot, but like people just hated on her, like almost Rebecca Black levels of hate for that song. But then after that, like she's put out very consistent songs, very good albums. Like she's just a really, 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 really solid pop artist, you know?
Absolutely.
But she has a ton of like hardcore fans who love her. But then there's still those people that are like, oh, the Call Me Maybe girl? Yeah, I don't care about her.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting where her career has gone. But if we're being objective about it, I think her music's very good, very solid. It's not super influential, but it has been really popular. She's been around ever since she blew up like 2014, 2015. She's been really consistent and really popular. So yeah, I think she goes pretty high on this list.
Absolutely. I haven't listened to much of her new stuff. I pretty much do only know her from Call Me Maybe, but I enjoyed Call Me Maybe. My dad didn't like it. I used to, whenever it came on the radio, I'd call my dad and play it through the phone just to annoy him. I think she's I think like right here, maybe here or here.
I'd put her just at the bottom of A2. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. That's kind of why I brought her up there. Yeah, I think Rae Jepsen's definitely in a good spot there. But next up, what we got?
So A$AP Mob, A$AP Rocky. Also, very interesting career trajectory there. Blew up in like around 2011, 2012-ish. And then put out like a bunch of really solid albums and mixtapes like back to back to back. And then kind of disappeared for a while and came back with his Testing album that people were very divided on. And then now he's just kind of in this weird limbo where he dropped Testing. That's the only album or project he's really put out, at least solo project he's put out in a while. And like, it seems like a lot of people are very divided on where he's at, but I do think he's really good. Like he can flow really well. His lyrics are fun. He's got good projects. It's just, he hasn't been super consistent with it.
Yeah.
And like, even though he's been around for a while, he hasn't been like super popular for a while either. Because most people in the rap community know who he is, but there's a lot of people who don't know who he is either. So because it's been so stretched out over this long period of time that it's hard to rank him. But like peak A$AP is easily A to A+ tier, but I think now he's probably like top of B+ tier just because we haven't seen it in a while. But when he does put stuff out, it's good. It's just not like
fair evaluation. He's the top of B+.
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah, I think that works too.
Very solid place for him. And right next in the A$AP Mob is A$AP Ferg.
As soon as possible.
Kind of the opposite, really. Like he didn't come on nearly as strong as A$AP Rocky did, but when he did get going, he got real popular real quick. A lot of great singles, whether it's Plain Jane or it's Work or whatever it is. Like he's got a lot of radio friendly songs, especially now that the later half of the decade has been way more rap focused than the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that worked out.
Yeah, it's really weird, but I like it. I'm a rap fan, so
whole different video we could do. But yeah, anyway,
it's been a culture for sure. But the thing is, he just doesn't have like, it's not like over quality, like super good quality. It's a lot of like, yeah, this is good, but like I don't think anyone's putting A$AP Ferg in their top 10 rappers.
Yeah.
I
also don't think he's as popular as A$AP Rocky.
No, I mean he does have really popular singles, but him as an artist isn't nearly as
Yeah.
popular as
Like
Rocky is, just as an artist and as like a fashion
I
icon.
knew about Rocky before, but I didn't know about Ferg until we started talking about this specific video. So that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of my own experience between these two. So
I think that's a very, very common experience for a lot of people.
yeah,
So, because you might know a Ferg song, but you don't know it's him.
exactly.
So that's a big deal.
So with that being said, I think that kind of brings him down to around like B-ish somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's very much exactly where Meek Mill's at. You're like almost the same kind of thing, except he has a little bit more popular songs than Meek does.
What'd you do here then?
Yeah, that works.
Right here? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. Well, moving on, we're going to Harry Styles, one of the original One Direction crew, now on a solo journey. And I think he's pretty solid, you know? If we don't take One Direction's popularity into account, his own popularity kind of fell off a little bit when they broke off and did their own things. And then he, out of all of them, I think is becoming a little bit more popular than the rest.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. I don't think it's as big, but it's the best comparison we can do. He's the Justin Timberlake to NSYNC.
Yeah.
You know, like
Mm-hmm.
he's really made a name for himself for
He
sure.
really
And he's a
has.
great talent too. Like he's a great singer, and like it kind of sucks because he's dropped a lot of good songs and whatnot in the past in 2020 and at late 2019. So the fact that we're not really considering that
Yeah.
kind of hurts him. But again, since we're not considering like we're not taking his One Direction stuff into account, I don't think he has the pure influence or the popularity to be super high, but he is very popular and he's good. He's just not that upper echelon of that.
Yeah,
You know?
he when he went solo, he really allowed his vocal talents to shine. He's got a lot of control in his voice, and I think that's kind of unexpected from a boy band. You think boy bands are kind of more like, you know, let's show off our bodies and make the song sound good. But he really is like going off on his own and showing his own like personality and control in his voice and talent on his own. And more power to him. I think it's great. Honestly, I'm not ashamed to listen to Harry Styles. I think Harry Styles puts out great music. It's just like Storm said, more of his popular stuff is starting to come in this year, which we're not fully counting. We're taking it into like minimal consideration, but not enough to really change your position. So with that being said, it's tough because based off talent alone, like he would be like B, but popularity wise, I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, he's pretty popular though. Like, like he's not like super high Billboard charts, but he'll make the Billboard, and his songs will have like tens and hundreds of million views on YouTube. Yeah. So it's not like he's not.
He's not fully like gone.
Yeah, I think he's probably in between ASAP and David Guetta. Like he's up there for sure.
That's
just not
kind of where I was thinking.
Yeah, just not that higher level
yet.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll
if
see.
we did this video 2, 3, 5 years in the future, I think he'd be somewhere closer to A+. Because we consider like stuff like Watermelon Sugar, which I think came out this year, if not last year, but like towards the end of it. And he'd probably be a lot more popular on his solo journey than he is now. But yeah, I think that's a good spot for him. But let's continue this One Direction trend. Zayn.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about Zayn.
Not to be, but I feel like it's basically he's like great value Harry Styles. You know what I mean? Like, he does everything Harry does, and he's in the same category. He's just not as popular. I don't think he's as talented. You know, so he's just like Harry Styles, a tier below. You know.
Honestly, let's do it then.
There's not too much to say about it. Like since One Direction's broken up, I mean, Pillow Talk was huge, and he dropped that album, but that's kind of been it. So I'm excited to see what he does in the future.
Yeah,
but I just don't think he has as bright of a future as Harry Styles does at the moment.
I think I'm actually gonna put him. I'm gonna put him there. I was gonna do direct parallel, but I don't think look at who he would have been next to. Like, no.
Yeah, I don't think. That's a very fair point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for him. I just like, what else did he do other than Pillow Talk? He did other stuff, but I haven't heard it. Yeah. So anyway,
Next up,
We got a
John Legend.
powerhouse and John Legend.
John Legend, man, this man is a legend, literally.
Literally,
Like, he's
one of the most
so good.
iconic.
He is such a good vocal talent. All his projects that he drops really good. Sometimes there's some weird features on there that don't mix super well, but he does have like really quality albums. He's been dropping them for a long time. He stayed in relevancy for quite a while, and I'm just waiting for him to drop something bad. like I'm just waiting.
You're gonna wait a while.
He hasn't done it. This man was in La La Land. Like what an icon.
He's doing.
He's like the only person of color in La La Land. You love to see it. But yeah, he's really. I think he checks all the boxes. He's just he is really popular, but his music isn't like incredibly otherworldly popular. That's the only thing holding him back. But he is still really up there.
Weird. You think it would be? Mm-hmm. Like I don't know. He has like the feeling of being one of those like top of the tops, but like for some reason he isn't.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. His music is, but him isn't. Because he's had like Love Me Now, he's had Green Light, like these really uber popular songs, but it's just like they're very few and far between. But his music is all quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So I think he's easily A+ here, but just like not at the top of the top.
I was gonna say A+ tier, maybe even bottom of S, but that popularity thing, like it feels weird to not call him popular, but he is.
Yeah, but it's just when you think of the top of the decade, you don't immediately think of John Legend.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's what's weird about it.
I feel like he's like bottom of A+ tier.
Oh, you really?
Like I think of all of the other artists.
Good point. Good point
for him, as far as pure popularity goes. So
that's a valid point.
And I don't think that's also a thing that knocks him down a bit. I don't think he's influencing anybody. I don't think anyone's trying to be John Legend. You know,
because you can't. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, when you're super talented, it's hard to copy that.
Yeah.
But like maybe just that style of his music isn't as like I guess culturally relevant as it used to be.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
You know, he's still really good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Arthur himself, John Legend.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think you can take this one a little more than I can.
Yeah, dude, Paramore is so good. Like they're so good. They've been so consistent. It's crazy, and they've done a pretty solid rebrand too. Like they went from like early 2000s or late 2000s, like Misery Business and That's What You Get off the Riot album, like super pop punky music, to more towards the pop than anything with their most recent album. I'm totally blanking on what it's called. I think it's like After Laughter or something. But it's like they drop an album every 3 to 4 years, and every time it's really good and it's a different style. Like they went from super like edgy pop punk to more just straight punk to then pop, and like who knows what they're gonna do next. But they're always around. It's always super good, and they've had really big hits. But just it's kind of like John Legend. Their hits are few and far between. But they have stuff like Misery Business, Still Into You, Ain't It Fun, Hard Times. Like they have these really big songs as well. Like they're probably one of the biggest like punk artists out there, if you want to qualify them as that.
Yeah.
But they're great.
For me, I feel like they're definitely popular. I just feel like they're popular in their own genre. Mm-hmm. Like they're not really breaking through to other people. They're not like introducing other people to their music. It's kind of the people that already knew them or people in the genres already. And I don't know if that's wrong to say, but that's just kind of my feeling. Like I haven't really listened to much Paramore.
Yeah,
it's just not my type of music.
They're definitely not in that upper echelon of popularity at all. They're not going to like convert you to that kind of music. But they still are extremely popular. I would say Paramore is more popular than Rae Jepsen or
absolutely.
Tame Impala.
Absolutely. I can't deny their popularity of where they're at. There's a lot of people who have almost nostalgia for them. Mm-hmm. And they kind of have that like, man, I love Paramore. I used to listen to them back when I was, angsty teen and stuff like that, That's kind of where I feel like a lot of the love for them comes from in their fans. And that's not me like hating on them. That's just like general what I see.
It's a fair criticism.
Yeah. And I'm like I feel like if anything that helps them, because that just shows how much staying power they have and how timeless their genre of music can be. if people are still listening to them from their youth. With that being said, I don't know. I feel like
they're like bottom of A tier probably.
bottom of A, I think, yeah.
Because they're really good and they've been around for a while. It's just like you said, when people, I feel like that mindset you have of when you think of Paramore, you think of a long time ago. That's not inaccurate. You know, I feel like a lot of people have that mindset.
Exactly.
So
they're kind of like a nostalgia band for them, similar to like, oh god, I can't even think of what's like a good nostalgia band around their like same premise, like
Green Day.
I guess Green Day, yeah. Probably Green Day is probably around their same level.
Green Day just dropped an album not too long ago.
Or Evanescence, I think, is a good one as well for that kind of comparison. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's just kind of my observation.
Next up,
our boy.
Oh my goodness!
You have a lot of words for this one.
I have a lot. It's he's so conflicting because when Ed Sheeran first came out, this man like took the world by storm. His first album, even his second album, were really good. Like they were really genuinely good. Just like most songs in there are bangers. He has a great voice. Like he's super talented. But just as the years went on, as more music came out, it got more and more commercial, more and more basic, more and more bland, more safe as it went on. And it's just like, people kind
of expected the Shape of You's and the Perfects and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just like, what happened, man? Like he like has like, I feel like when people the reason why people like Billie Eilish, that's why they liked him back in the day. You know, like he has that super homegrown, natural talent.
Yeah.
As the years have gone on, it's just gotten less and less quality.
I think something that he holds over a lot of these other artists on this list, except maybe the rappers, because a lot of rappers don't have ghostwriters. They're a lot of their own music. While they do have ghostwriters, it's mostly their own creation, is that Ed Sheeran is talented in the fact that he's just really good at writing music. Because not only does he write pretty much all of his own songs, he also has written a lot of other songs for more people than you think. Like I think he wrote he might have I think he wrote a Rihanna song. I might be mixing that up. Yeah, he's written a lot for a lot of people. And I think his talent, he does have a great voice and he's super talented on his guitar and super talented musically, but I think his talent aspect goes more from vocal talent to musical writing talent and lyric and wordplay and lyric writing talent. I think it's a different kind of aspect. I think that kind of bolsters him. I'm not my girlfriend's going to hate me. She's a big fan, but I'm not the biggest fan of Ed Sheeran's music. I think it's great, but it's not my first choice. Probably not even my third choice.
Ed Sheeran music now, like in the past 7-8 years, it's like coming home from Halloween and like you look through your candy and you look through it and it's like, what? This is all Almond Joys and Butterfingers. Like, why would anyone choose this? You know what I mean? I'll still eat it. It's candy.
It's candy. Like, it's chocolate. It tastes good.
This isn't what you want. You know what I mean? There's nothing here.
Hey, I gotta say, tangent. Almond Joys. Last year, I fell in love with them, man. They're a lot better than you think.
I know there's a lot of big fans of Almond Joys, but I feel like most kids don't like it. It's definitely more.
Oh yeah, 100%. Let us know in the comments if you want a candy tier list, because that's something that we can do. Anyway, missed the bar on the timing of this video a little bit, but it's all good. Anyway, Ed Sheeran, I feel like talent-wise, he can't go any lower than B+, but song quality-wise, especially in recent years, I feel like kind of holds him here.
I just think his recent projects are just not good.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I think he's B tier because of that. But
yeah.
He still has the popular talent. It's just he hasn't shown it in a while.
I think he's top of B tier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he can go any lower. Like looking at these artists,
I mean he has that upper echelon of popularity.
Yeah, and he has the talent in different ways.
The quality's gone down.
Yeah, he almost could be in his own tier in between B and B+. You can almost have an Ed Sheeran tier. I don't know. Anyway, this is Lana Del Rey, right?
Lana Del Rey, who a little yikes as of late. She's had some interesting opinions of her own music recently.
Yeah.
But I mean, that aside, I mean, it's really good. It's very solid. It's very also kind of like atmospheric and like a lot of vibes, I guess, is the best word to describe it. I hate using vibes. It's such a weird word to describe
Vibes.
but it's good. I just don't think she's like, I don't think she's super influential or super popular, but like, I mean, she is popular, but not like that next level.
Yeah.
But it's like very middle of the road for this kind of list, you know, like she's there, popular, good, but not over the top in any of those categories, you know.
No, I think she's just very middle of the road.
Shout out to Lana Del Rey, but like with an asterisk, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
light shout out to Lana Del Rey.
So where are we gonna put her though?
I think like kind of where Selena Gomez is at works, you know.
Okay, thinking that right there.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, or below Selena Gomez or above?
I think that's fine there.
Okay. All right. So up next, 5 Seconds of Summer.
Yeah, they're like they're so
fine. 5 Seconds of Summer.
They're like 5 seconds of fame. Like, who cares about 5 seconds of summer right now?
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, they were all over the world for like a good year and a half or 2 years, and then they just kind of dropped out of relevancy completely.
Absolutely.
They're basically like One Direction if they like dropped out of college, except that's relevant. You know, like they started going to law school and they're like, oh, this is too hard. I'm just gonna work at my dad's company. And that's 5 seconds of summer for you. Like, it's just, it's not like garbage, but it's just, you know, it's very basic boy band stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like they're like, I think they're D tier, honestly.
Yeah, I think bottom of D tier.
Like, the only reason why they're on this list is because they had multiple like really banging singles, like not as in quality, but like they're really popular. So
yeah,
you know.
I feel like I remember hearing 5 Seconds of Summer was headlining like a couple Warped tours and maybe a couple like local radio station big concerts, and that was it.
Yeah, it's again, it's not what you want.
Warped Tour might be the wrong event, but like I just remember hearing them headlining certain events. But anyway, Shawn Mendes.
I very much like Shawn Mendes. I feel like I'm in the minority of like a lot of music fans, but I dig his music. Like, I don't think it's bad at all. What do you think?
I don't like Shawn Mendes. Shawn Mendes is the E-boy to me. Not E-boy as in like E-boy, but like the E sound boy because of how he pronounces his words in the song Stitches. And all of his other music, I just don't like it. I'm not a big fan of him. He's just typical white boy making music because he can. And I just, like, more power to him. Him and Camila Cabello dropped some good music together, but like, I don't like Shawn Mendes.
Yeah, he's definitely really basic, especially in his lyrical content. Like, there's nothing crazy there, but I think it's really catchy, it's really fun, it's light, it's nothing special.
It's nothing offensive, but I think that's kind of the problem with it.
Yeah, it's nothing offensive, but it's nothing special either.
Yeah.
So he's really popular though. He's blown up a lot.
I can't deny that.
It's definitely undeniable, but it's like nothing to write home about, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so I don't think he can go that high, but
I wouldn't
it's not bad.
Call my mom and tell her I was listening to Shawn Mendes.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's talking about these Shawn Mendes albums.
No,
you know?
No, not at all. I'd put him in D tiers because I don't like the guy that much. Anyway,
no.
he can't. I know he can't. I know he can't.
It's probably like, I'd say it's C+ tier.
Yeah,
you know?
I'd say top of C+ tier.
Yeah,
I feel like he's more popular than Pink though.
He is more popular than Pink, but I think his music isn't. Pink has like decently unique style.
That's a good point.
You know,
that's a good point. Yeah, there you go. Good point. Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Next up, best British rapper in the game.
Pip Pip Cheerio and all that.
Savage. Gotta love him.
21 Savage.
He's Sir Savage, the 21st. This man is a legend. It's weird. Me personally, I went from this guy's garbage. Why do people like him? You could barely hear him when he's rapping. You know, there's so many jokes about he sounds like he's recording his raps while his parents are sleeping in the next room.
Yeah, man, he's got some good ad libs, especially on that Post Malone song.
that's the
Well,
thing, right? Is him and Migos. Obviously, they didn't, but they basically invented ad libs. Like obviously, they've been around for a while,
modern
but
takes of ad libs.
but like no one went to a song before this for the ad libs. Now they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like ad libs are so good.
Oh,
Like
man.
even
Can't
if
wait. 21.
even if you don't even like his music, sometimes they're just funny. Like
Yeah.
like he's such a fun artist. He's gotten a lot better as time has gone on. Every project he drops, every project since he's gotten popular that he's dropped has been getting better and better. Obviously, a big part of that is Metro Boomin. If you have him as your main producer, you're gonna be doing well. He makes amazing beats, but yeah, he's continuing to get better. He's super popular. It's just the biggest knock on him is that it's not life changing. Like you're not gonna listen to a 21 album and come out completely different with a different outlook on anything. Like he's just gonna be you're rapping about having cars, having sex, and shooting people.
Yeah,
So,
you might feel a little more distinguished, and that might be the British background talking. But other than that, yeah, he's got a lot of very like tropey rapper lyrics and stuff.
It's nothing new, but as far as his lyrical content goes, but everything else is good.
Oh, absolutely.
So
we're definitely not knocking him. He's great. We love 21 over here.
I think he's because of that, I think he's bottom of A tier, honestly, because I think all the rappers ahead of him bring something new to the table, and he's just kind of the best at what he does.
He's just there.
I thought you were doing more than that.
Nope.
Okay.
We're stopping there. Moving on. No more.
Moving on though, kind of in a similar vein, but not really. Lil Uzi Vert's, him and 21 Savage famously were in their XXL cipher together, which was amazing. Gotta love it. But Uzi's interesting. Like he blew up from 2016 on, and then kind of dropped off the face of the earth. He said he was quitting music for a long time. Then he came back, and his new album, it's pretty good, but there's a lot. It's weird. People either love that album or they're like, this is garbage. Why do people still like Lil Uzi? He's definitely he's like an energy guy. It's more, again, I don't like this word, but it's more about the vibe of an Uzi song than anything. But the biggest thing is, like with 21, a lot of it's just basic rap stuff. But Uzi's got a lot of interesting ideas. He does a lot of new things with his music.
Absolutely.
So I think he gets a lot of points for that. People love him for that.
He
has a very eccentric personality.
Yeah, he's got a lot of you almost can. He's almost, when you're listening to an album, it's almost like you're listening to him live.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's very intense, but in a good way. And I think again he gets a lot of points for that. It's just he's not that upper echelon of popular like a lot of these artists are, and two, it hasn't been for long enough. We need to see more projects from him to put him super high. Even though 21 Savage blew up around the same time, he has so much more consistency than Lil Uzi does.
It's kind of a similar story to the Harry Styles thing, where if we did this video 5 years into the future, it'd probably be a little different of where he's placed. Yeah,
exactly. So because of that, I mean, he's good, but he needs more time. So
he's got to age like a fine wine.
Yeah, I think he's probably, I'd put him just below Timbaland, I think, in B tier.
Yeah,
because he needs time.
Oop, that's not below Timberland. There we go. Okay. Moving on from the vertical Uzis to the big boats.
Doing all of the 2016 cypher rappers now, I guess, except for Denzel Curry. He didn't make the list. I'm sorry. I love Denzel Curry, but he didn't make the list. Oh God, Lil Uzi or Lil Yachty's music is so trash. I'm sorry, it's so bad, dude.
Bro, he's named after a large boat.
He's actually Lil Boat. That is one of his nicknames. If you didn't know, Lil Boat. And God, it's so bad. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I listen to a lot of rap. I try to diversify what I like, but my God, it's just so bland. It's so basic. It's so boring. It's so his lyrics aren't just bland. They're straight up bad. He constantly just has some of the worst lyrics I've heard in a long time. It's so memorable for how bad it is.
I feel like the picture we've chosen is kind of encapsulating that. He's almost like satire rap, even though he's not.
That's the thing, though. Is when he got popular, his music got popular because he's having such a fun time with it, and he's this light personality. He's like, woo, do what I want. Isn't that fun? And that was fun. It was a good time. But ever since then, it's just been it's almost like he's heard the critic, because one of the main criticisms of him is that it's there's nothing to it. Like he's just kind of rapping to rap. You know, it's like if someone freestyled in a car with you. It's like, hey, this is fun, but like we're not going to listen to this for years to come. You know.
Yeah.
And I think he took that to heart too much because the project he dropped after it, you could tell he's trying to be more serious, but it just sounds bad. Like because he's not a good rapper, so like you can't try to make rap that's really good if you're not good at it. So just kind of stick to the fun light stuff. Now he's getting back to that now, like in the past year or two, but he's just it's not good though. Like no matter what he does, it's just not great. You know.
Unfortunately, so, where do you think you want to put him then because of that?
Because he has one album that's pretty good, but everything else is just straight up bad. But he is pretty popular still, so I think he's just above Chris Brown, around there.
I think that's fair. Unfortunately,
but if I'm being unbiased, if I'm being subjective, he's F tier for sure. but it's me.
Well, I think moving on from that, going on to Panic at the Disco. I feel like they have like a bit of an identity crisis sometimes.
Yeah,
it's weird because sometimes they do pop, other times they do like punky punk rock pop, and like it's such a weird like almost emo band sometimes, but also like mainstream. What do you want to do, guys? Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's the comp I was about to make. I just realized we left someone off this list we should have talked. Is they're basically like if Fall Out Boy tried to change up their style even more than they already do.
We did not include Fall Out Boy. Wow.
Yeah, we definitely should have put Fall Out Boy on this list. Sorry about that. TLDR, if we were to put Fall Out Boy on this list, probably like B tier.
Absolutely, yeah.
They have some kind of bland songs, but they do have some really good ones too.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of good singles. So shout out to Fall Out Boy. But Panic at the Disco, they do change up their style a lot. I kind of wish. Because like there's good ways to change up their style. Like Paramore has done that. Kendrick has done that. Even Frank Ocean or Taylor Swift. But with them, it feels like it's more they're legitimately trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
As far as to like have like conscious changes to what they're doing.
Yeah, it's such a weird like area for me for them, because like some of their music kind of gives me the like Pierce the Veil like old Paramore kind of vibes, while some of the newer music kind of sounds like Maroon 5 mixed with like a little edge. Like I don't get what they're trying to go for, and I'm not knocking them for that. It's just it's hard to place them because of that.
Yeah,
you know,
it's tricky because they are pretty popular, especially within their genre. But they've also had huge hits. It's just those hits weren't this decade is the problem.
Exactly, that's the problem. So. The thing we can't deny though is that Brendan Urie is an absolute vocal talent.
Oh yeah, like the dude can sing.
Like what? Like wow. So I think that helps them a little bit, but also at the same time, I feel like the only people that you talk about from Panic at the Disco is Brendan Urie.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of the problem with a lot of bands in general, though.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know if we can knock Panic at the Disco for that.
Yeah, I feel like he's got like just a little bit more of an overarching presence in the band than a lot of those other bands do. Like that, you definitely like can compare like other bands in that way. And I'm not trying to say that that's influencing our decision when we're replacing them. It's just kind of an observation I've noticed that Brendan Urie is very much the front runner. Yes, he's the lead singer, and most lead singers are the ones that get the attention. But like, he's like the front runner. Yeah,
like you can make the case that there's a good amount of people out there who know Brendan Urie, but they don't know Panic at the Disco. Similar to like Maroon 5 and Adam Levine.
Exactly. So, with that being said, I think solidly B plus A.
Yeah, I think they're. I'd say they're in between like Mac DeMarco and Justin Timberlake, because I don't know if they're pure quality. I don't know if they're better than any of the people above them, but they are really relevant and popular and good. It's just not like crazy in any of those things, but they do have the vocal talent as well. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think B plus is a very solid place for them.
Absolutely.
But speaking of other pop punky bands, it's Pierce the Veil.
Wow, it's almost like I saw them and compared them. Wow.
Whoa!
Who would have guessed?
But oh man, like it's weird. Again, I feel bad that we didn't put Fall Out Boy on the list.
It should totally be here.
We definitely. But they're basically they're exactly what we were asking for with uh, um, Panic at the Disco. They had a lane and they stuck to it. You know, they're a very solid pop punk band, super popular within their genre. I don't think they don't have nearly the popularity that Panic at the Disco does to like a general audience, but within their genre, I think Pierce the Veil is more popular because like I've gone to a lot of different like Warped Tour style concerts, and once Pierce the Veil comes out, it's different. Like good, like people flock to them, and they're really good. They have great lyrics. All of the band members are super good at what they do. Like they have an amazing drummer. Like it's really memorable. Again, they're great at what they do. They have a lot of influence within the genre. Like people definitely try and copy Pierce the Veil. But again, they're just not that upper echelon of. They're not even like super popular. Like they're popular for what they do. But there are so many people who have no idea who Pierce the Veil is.
Yeah, easily. So. You could walk down the street, social distanced, and ask who, Pierce the Veil is. Do you know who Pierce the Veil is? They'll be like, huh? What?
Yeah, most likely 9 out of 10 people are going to say no.
Exactly.
So, I love them. I think they're great, but I just think, they're getting held back by their popularity.
Mm-hmm. Very solid in their genre, but not mainstream.
Yeah, I'd probably put them like just above 21 Pilots, I would say.
I think that's absolutely a great spot for them.
Oh no, that's Imagine Dragons. 21 Pilots is in B tier.
You're right.
Next to Justin.
I saw the red and I was like, yeah, I remember seeing Red 21 Pilots. I meant that there. I promise I'm not completely illiterate to musical artists. That being said, that did make B tier officially 2 rows. So that's kind of fun. Got to scroll down a little bit now, and we're going to do a little more scrolling now, guys. So try to keep it as organized as possible. But this is a large list. This is what was 109, I think, artists on it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, that's why this video is like 3, maybe 2.5, 3 hours long. So
it's going to be a long one.
Thanks for bearing with us, guys.
Yeah. Moving on, though. The next one is Sleeping with Sirens. So shout out to Sleeping with Sirens. But the thing is, they're like the Zayn to Harry Styles. They're basically like Pierce the Veil, but just a little worse. But they are the same, if not more popular than Pierce the Veil. Though. Yeah, like they have a huge following as well within the genre, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Sleeping with Sirens, but it's just I don't think they're as good as Pierce the Veil straight up. Like I think if you take Pierce the Veil's 3 best albums, you take Sleeping with Sirens 3 best albums, Pierce the Veil's gonna blow them out of the water, like as far as quality goes. But they're really popular within their genre. They're good, and that's kind of it. They're just not that next level in any of those categories. No. So I think they're also B tier too, just the bottom of B tier. Yeah, I'd say.
They're not quite the difference and disparity that Zayn and Harry Styles are, but they're there. All right, up next, Tayo Cruz.
Dude, Tayo Cruz is a legend. Like, shout out to Tayo Cruz. Like, I don't, because there's so many people who immediately when they hear us talking about him, we're like, who in the world is that? But I mean, he had super big singles is the thing. It was like he was all over the radio for a hot minute. But the thing is, it was only like a 1 to 2 year range, and then the man dropped off the face of the earth as far as relevance goes. Yep. Like it's crazy. He might be, him and Shawn Kingston are probably the biggest like there and gone artists here. Like it's insane. The only thing is his singles are like next level pop. Like I think he has 2 in the top 10 of the decade. Like that's crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's something else, man.
And his music, it's super catchy too, but he also has that problem that we talked about of like, it's all singles. No one's listening to a Tayo Cruz album, but like, the singles he puts out are fun. It's just he doesn't have that longevity that nearly anyone else does on this list.
Unfortunately not, no. Like I don't think I've heard of Tayo Cruz since DJ Got Us Fallen in Love.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's a tough look.
Not DJ Got Us Fallen in Love. Not DJ Got Us Fallen in Love. Fucking Break Your Heart.
Break Your Heart and Dynamite.
Sorry, I literally looked up DJ Fallen in Love like a minute ago. That's my fault. I meant since Break Your Heart. I haven't heard of Break Your Heart like since then.
And Break Your Heart is. I think you might have like I only wanna break.
No, I've heard it.
your...
I just haven't heard from
Oh.
him since then.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
it's think about it. It's been so long since we heard from him. There is another completely otherworldly popular song called Dynamite. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God.
It's great.
Yeah,
So,
BTS's song. Like no one remembers the old Dynamite. No one cares. It's BTS now. It's Dynamite. Oh my God.
Shout out to the Minecraft Dynamite though.
Yo, TNT was great. That's why I said DJ Gau's Fallen in Love, because I was thinking about Creeper. Oh man, like Revenge. Without Usher, we wouldn't have Revenge, and without Tayo Cruz, we wouldn't have TNT.
S tier. There he goes.
There we go. Tayo Cruz is S tier, guys. Sorry, not even there. He's above Adele.
There it is.
That's
the perfect tier.
All right, I'll say this though.
I think he's probably like he's probably like bottom of C plus tier.
Yeah.
Just because he drops off the face of the earth. Like
where'd he
so
go?
Hard. Right? Who knows? Who knows what he's doing now? Shout out to
man took his
Tyler
money
Cruz,
and ran.
If you're watching that, hope you have a great day. But
Yeah,
we love you.
We love you, Tayo Cruz. Yo, tweet at Tayo Cruz this video. I'm kidding. Please don't. Let him swim in his bath of money in peace.
Oh man. Anyway, though, the next artist, Arctic Monkeys, who I've also had a bit of a personal journey with. I used to hate on them because I was big on Tumblr for a while, and they were like all over Tumblr when their AM album dropped.
Yeah.
I hated that. But even then, their music is really good. Like it's kind of the problem of some of the other artists where they had some really good music and really good projects in the early 2000s or late 2000s. So because of that, they miss out on that. But even just taking what they've done this decade, it's really solid. You know, it's all quality. They have some really popular songs too, like "Do I Want to Know" and whatnot. It's just, I think a lot of some of their, or like a good chunk of their best stuff was not this decade, and that hurts them.
Yeah.
But what they've done here, it's still good. They need more. If they had dropped one or two more albums this decade, I think they'd be much higher.
Yeah.
But because of that, I think they're probably B tier because they do have that next level of popularity, and what they've made is good. But they're probably like in between Sara Bareilles and Zayn, most likely.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably a good spot for him. Because I want them to be more popular. I want them to be higher, but like we can't I don't know. They kind of can't be any popular, and they kind of can't be any higher than where they're at. Just because, I don't know. Just a weird. They're a weird section for them.
Here's the thing, basically. So moving on to the next artist, the Black Keys. They're basically the Arctic Monkeys if they put out more stuff. Like the Black Keys are super consistent and also have some very popular songs as well. They just they've been doing it a lot this decade, and it's all good quality. It's all really good. Songs like Fever and Gold on the Ceiling and stuff like that are really popular too.
Gold on the Ceiling is really good.
Yeah, like they have really solid bops. Like I feel like people who say like, "Oh, only listen to classic rock," they would love the Black Keys. Because it just it has that old and new sound and blends them together really well. And they're really good at what they do. They're just not. Again, they have the same problem a lot of artists do. They're not that upper echelon of popular. They're pretty influential. Are very popular, but
absolutely,
so not like super celebrity.
Based off of that, would you just not do that?
No, I think they're more consistent. They have more popularity.
Yeah,
like I think they're like in between Justin Timberlake and Alicia Keys for B+ tier.
Okay,
like, they're really good.
Okay,
and they've been around for a while too.
I think that's fair.
Because I think pretty much everyone in B+ tier is either they don't have the consistency or they're missing that oomph.
Yeah,
I think they're just missing that oomph.
They're like special factors, not quite there.
So, shout out to Black Keys.
Yeah, Pharrell.
So Pharrell is also interesting. He's basically like, as far as how we rank him, he's basically like Timbaland on steroids. Like my man works with so many people. It's insane.
This dude's producing like he's made of money. Like it's insane.
He's on the same, if not a higher level of producing than Timbaland, but he also has like a ton of singles too. and a lot of really good songs. Some controversial, you know. Blurred Lines was a yikes, but you can't deny how infectious that song is.
Yeah,
like
it's weird.
How catchy.
It's not.
Like
it shouldn't be catchy, but man, is it?
I think Blurred Lines is like I feel like a criminal going back to listen to that song, but it's so good. It's like I don't know how to describe it.
I feel dirty.
It's so good. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Pharrell's great. Again, he's been super consistent. He's been in the music business for a long time. Has been doing it at high quality for a long time too. And again, producing a lot, putting out solid songs. I think he's got to be A tier because of that. He just
Absolutely.
himself. He doesn't have the superstar power that people in A+ in S do.
Yeah. Just, where would we put him though? I don't think he's anywhere near low.
No, I think he's probably just below Tyler Creator, and in the middle, yeah, right there. I think that's a great spot.
Fair. I was gonna say
So-
maybe here in between Mac and Nicki,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I think this is probably a good spot. I feel like you could really theoretically put him anywhere between here and like here.
Yeah, it works. It's a good
Yeah.
spot.
It's kind of a tough call. Next up, we got Trey Songz.
Yeah, it's Trey Songz is interesting
Dropping
because
lots of singles.
yeah, he's got a lot of singles, and he's like the singer version of Ty Dolla $ign, where he's on like every popular song for some reason, but he doesn't drop a lot of like no one's going to a Trey Songz album, but like when he's on your song, it's probably gonna do well.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. It's a weird dynamic.
Interesting
But he's
spot.
been around for a hot minute. Yeah, exactly. He's been around for a while. He's doing it well. It's just he's not super quality, not super substance, but he's got a lot of good singles, and
Yeah.
you know he's
He's
been
not,
doing it for
like,
a hot minute.
trashed here either, though.
No, not at all.
Is
Like
he,
he's a good singer. He's very talented.
Yeah.
But I think him as an individual isn't what people go to him for. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like if you think of the best Trey Songz songs, they almost all have features or he's featuring on. You know.
Mhm.
So I think that weighs him down a lot, but he's still really good. I think it'd be a disservice to put him any lower than B tier, but I think he just needs to distinguish himself more, even though he's been around for a while. So I feel like this is always going to be who he is. But Trey
Yeah.
Songz, that's kind of it. Not too much to say about him, really.
Yeah. So where are we putting him again?
I think he's right in between Selena Gomez and Pink. Like he's in that same category as them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Demi Lovato. Man, I love Demi Lovato. I don't get all the hate she gets, dude.
Speak on it. No.
I don't understand. Like, she went through so much crap, and she came back from it. I think she relapsed once. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think she kind of had issues again, like one time, and she came back from that again. And then people are still clowning her about that. Like, why are you clowning her about her drug use? Like, she's doing super well for herself. You know? She's come back so hard, and I just don't understand. She's really talented. She might not be like Adele level. She might not have the most vocal control, but her voice is such a unique, distinct voice that also sounds really good. She puts out power ballads all the time. She puts out empowerment style music. So I don't understand where her hate's coming from, other than just, yeah, she's Demi Lovato. We don't really like her. I don't get it.
Yeah, and it definitely gets a lot of hate from the crowd of, well, one, like you said, since her music is a lot of empowerment themes, people are going to hate on her just because of that and be like, oh, feminism sucks and all that. Or
Which is a terrible
people who
mindset.
people who don't think mental health is real will also hate on her because she's been a big advocate for positive mental health.
Yeah.
That so, but
Also
just
a
taking her
terrible
music,
mindset.
yeah, taking her music for what it is, it's pretty good. You know,
Yeah,
she's a great vocal talent. It's
Absolutely.
very solid. Surprisingly enough, again, a lot of the problem with these pop singers is that a lot of it doesn't have much substance to it, but hers definitely does. There's a lot of things.
A lot of her songs
It's
have
not
a lot
like-
of emotion.
Yeah, it's very emotional. It's not super like deep, but it's very emotional. And she's been around for a while too. Like shout out to her Disney Channel days.
Sunny with a chance.
Sunny with a Chance is a banger. If we
Great
ever do
show.
a Disney Channel show tier list, oh boy, that show is great. But she's very solid. I don't think she's like, again, same problem a lot of artists have, not the top of the top,
No.
but she's up there for sure.
She's no lower than A at all. I'd say even no lower than A plus, but she's definitely not S, unfortunately.
I think she's like, I'd say right there is good actually.
Yeah,
right there.
I do too.
It's
I think you guys need to put a little bit more respect on her name.
Yeah, drop it.
Yeah. Pentatonics.
And they're like really weird to place. It's like, they blew up out of nowhere. They basically
Didn't they win an acapella show?
I
think they were like the winners of an acapella based singing show.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like they didn't invent acapella, but they basically invented acapella.
They invented acapella for the mainstream. Their mainstream barbershop quintet.
Yeah, exactly. For that, they're really good at what they do. They're all super talented. They've been at the forefront. But that's the thing. Even though they're acapella, they've been stupid popular for a long time.
I don't think you can go into any department store around Christmas time and not hear their music.
Yeah, like they've become one of the go-to Christmas artists, which
That's
saw that
hard to do. That is so hard to do. It is one of the hardest things to break into a tradition, and man, did they do it.
They really did. So I think you got to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, they're also huge advocates for LGBTQ plus rights. Like they are massive advocates for that, and it's super cool to see. I personally think they fell off a little bit when Avi left. I preferred Avi a lot more. I'm not even really sure the new guy's name is, and that's not me being rude. I haven't looked into them too much since Avi left. Which I think if Avi ever finds this video, I'm sorry, buddy, but I think you made a mistake leaving the group. But if that was for your own choice and your own mental health, I think that's perfectly fine. You should focus on that. But I do think that they fell off a little bit after he left. But that being said, it's hard. That you have to take them at their voice value because that's all you hear. You'll get occasional cello or occasional violin, but it's all a cappella, and a cappella is literally just all voice and body, And I think I think because of that, and because they've broken into such a traditional based holiday season, and because of just their impactfulness in bringing a cappella into the mainstream, like after the Pentatonics went crazy, look at YouTube now. There's a cappella covers of everything and anything from anyone. It's crazy,
That's the biggest thing with them is that they've been super influential in so many ways.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. So I think if you're just going off of like their straight music popularity, they wouldn't be super high. But I think both in talent and in influential ability, they're really high up there.
Oh yeah,
they've got to be A plus.
Yeah, absolutely. I think bottom of A plus though. Like I don't think I could feel comfortable putting them higher than John Legend.
Yeah, because the thing is like you can't put them any higher because people are gonna look at this list in a vacuum and be like, Pentatonics, what the?
Yeah.
But they're up there for a reason. So,
yeah.
Shout out to Pentatonics.
Shout out.
Hey, so next up though, speaking of influential, shout out to Mumford and Sons, legends. It's so weird. They get so much hate for borderline, no reason. Like it's
because of their genre.
Genuinely don't. Yeah, like they've really made folk thing. Like obviously, again, it's been a thing, but they've made it. They've brought it into the forefront of popularity, and they're really good at what they do. They're super talented, super quality. They have a lot of really impactful songs lyrically, and no one really liked banjos before Mumford. They should get credit for that because there's so many bands that are trying to be the next Mumford and Sons, and they're just not.
It's just not working. Hey man, we stand banjos in this chat.
So
let's do it, Mumford. Where are we putting you?
I think they're. I feel like they're probably B plus tier. Because they're really quality. They're just missing that oomph. But I think they're probably in between Black Keys and Alicia Keys, which I just realized. Keys together.
Unintentional.
That's all the keys out there.
They got the house keys, the garage keys, the key fobs, the pool keys, the Black Keys, Alicia Keys,
Key West,
the Keys of Success, DJ Khaled.
Don't get me started on DJ Khaled again. I don't want to go down. Anyway, though, oh my goodness, kind of the like literally the opposite of Mumford and Sons in almost every way is Fetty Wap, who just, he's like Teo Cruz level of came and went. Like he just blew up in 2015 and then completely disappeared.
Fetty Wap was the like voice of Vine for a while.
Yeah, shout out to Vine. God, I miss Vine. That was so fun. I mean, TikTok's kind of the same thing, but you know,
TikTok's like Zoomer Vine.
Yeah, it's a whole other topic. Yeah. But Fetty Wap though, I mean, it's like he was really fun. He has an interesting voice. He's a big auto-tune guy, and his singles really fun and really popular, like super popular. But again, he just dropped off the face of the earth, and no one's listening to Fetty Wap albums. It's just like, it's just Trap Queen and Come My Way or whatever it's called. So,
yeah. I remember I was going to a marching band competition one time, and one of my section mates had Fetty Wap on their I think it was their phone. I don't remember if it was an iPod or a phone. But they just like put it on like someone else's speaker. We were just blasting Fetty Wap on the way to a marching band trip. It was a good time, man. It was a good time. So for that, he's S tier. No.
I think he just goes right next to Teo Cruz. Like basically the same thing.
We're blanking. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I was not looking over here. I was looking like this.
Yeah.
Just pure on the left side. I think you've got some choice words about this one.
Oh my god. Okay, so Lil Dicky. It's such a problem because if you look at him just at his potential and you just look at his freestyles, you're like, dude, this guy is amazing. Like he's got great flow, he's got super funny lines. And it works really well. He's a good rapper, and he could put the voice inflection in different things when he needs to. So like pure ability, he can do it. It's just the songs he puts out are so bad. I'm like, what is this? Like you look at his freestyles and you look at his singles, and it's two artists. It's completely different artists. Like, and yeah, some people are gonna say, oh, he puts his freestyles into his albums, like they're there, but then the beats on them aren't as good and the flow isn't as good and he doesn't put as like emotion into them, so it's not the same thing. And then his singles like Earth is garbage and Freaky Friday is a whack song with Chris Brown, and it's just like,
didn't he
like, I respect it.
He did a song where it was like the least expensive music video ever or something like that.
Yeah, Save That Money. That's a great song. That's a great song. It's a song all about saving money, but also trying to like flex as a rapper. Like it's great. It's super funny. But most of his songs are just so. It's like fart jokes as a rapper.
It's South Park as a rapper.
Yeah, it's just, oh my god. And we don't need to talk about his album that he made, rapping from the perspective of his brain, which has a voice that talks like this. Why would anyone want to listen to an album like this? It's so bad. Oh my god, it kills me because I know he could be good is the problem. So I don't think we could put him in F tier, but I think he has to be bottom of D tier. Like it's just, what are you doing? What is he doing?
Dicky.
I don't know. Oh, it hurts my soul.
He's got such charisma, man. Anyway,
God.
Cardi.
Speaking of not so good.
Damn shit. If we got dislikes from some of these other artist picks, man, oh man, we're getting bombarded now.
But here's the thing, like you'll see where we rank her, but
yeah,
because as far as pure popularity and influence goes, very high up there. Very, very, very
almost S tier.
It's just her actual songs. It's just she's not that good of a rapper at all. Like as far as like flow and especially lyrical ability, she's not doing much. But I mean, she gets on these great beats, and she's a super fun personality, and people love her. So she's really popular, and she's attractive. So that's also a big thing. Yeah. But
helps a certain
she
crowd.
is very influential. There's a lot of people like you wouldn't have. I think Nicki Minaj is the pioneer of this.
Yes.
So you got to give her more credit, but you wouldn't have Megan Thee Stallion or like City Girls without Cardi B as well.
Yeah.
So she's definitely up there. She's super popular.
Yeah.
but I just don't think there's much to her music at all.
Also,
And
she kind of came out about her past.
Yeah, she has a very questionable past. A lot of people brush it off just because, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to like someone, you'll like them.
Exactly.
It's not great. But the thing is, she's so overwhelmingly popular that it's you can't put her low.
No,
you know?
No. It's just, I feel like we can't, like if we mention like Chris Brown and a few others, we kind of have to mention with that a little bit. Yeah. So that's not really going to affect her much, but it's there. But also, she's
yeah, I think that's a good spot. Right
talent wise, she's great. Talent wise, she's okay. Rather, popularity wise, she's otherworldly. So it's kind of
it's next level.
Yeah.
As far as how popular she is. So, you know, but moving on. So you guys may have noticed for a long time here, you're like, why is there a question mark tier?
What's that here? Doing? Why do we have question marks here?
Well, it's for Pitbull. Pitbull comes in his own tier because we just don't know what to do with this guy. Like I don't know. Like he has these really popular songs. His music, it's not like he's basically the like as far as like his voice and his talent of rapping and singing, he's basically the male version of Cardi B. It's not very good, but like most people can do it. But he just a lot of people like him, but also a lot of people hate him, and it like this man rhymed Kodak with Kodak with Kodak. What is who is this Voldemort looking ass man? I don't know. But all he wants to do is just drink in Miami, and honestly, I can't hate on him for that.
One of the big things that we were talking about when setting this up is that Pitbull seems just like one of the time he's a guy who took a trip to Miami when he was in his like mid to late 20s and just absorbed that into his personality.
Like he just decided this is what I'm gonna do.
This is me. I am Miami.
So he is Mr. 305.
Mr. Worldwide. He's a bald king. We love him, but man, Pitbull, what are you doing, dude?
Oh, man, I just hope he's having a good day. Shut up. Oh my god. Anyway, so next up is also someone I'm very conflicted on, which is Chance the Rapper. Chance's first two projects are fantastic. The first three projects are fantastic.
I remember hearing a lot about Chance when he first showed up.
Yeah, 10 Day, especially Acid Rap. That's the one most people are like love. Acid Rap and Coloring Book are all really, really good projects, especially considering the context for all of them. They're all very good. He's a great rapper. He has this very distinct voice, very distinct style. His lyrical content is also really good. Like he can do the generic rap of like, woo, I'm just talking about whatever, but he also has some very like serious topics that he talks about, and it's really good. The only thing is, he did make undeniably one of the worst albums of the decade. Like The Big Day, oh my god, it was so bad. Like it was so bad. Like that is easily the most disappointing album I've ever listened to, because we were waiting on The Big Day for a while. That's why it's called The Big Day. But oh my god, like that drags him down so bad. And I feel bad. A lot of people do like it. Like a lot of people like Hot Shower, even if it's ironically. But it's like it's such a drop in quality, and it makes me so sad. But I think because the first half of the first 3/4 of his discography is really good, he's got to be pretty high. But you know, that one album is tough. It's not a good look.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of you tied a rock to his ankles and threw him in the water. You know, it pulls him down way hard.
So I think bottom of B tier is a good spot for him. Yeah. Like if you take that album away, he's A tier, if not A+ tier.
Absolutely.
With that album,
it really holds him back.
A lot of people kind of are upset with him because he's been doing a lot of commercials, and they put the sellout label on him. I don't think that's true, but you know, that is something to consider as well.
Yeah.
So
we love Chance, but there's just it's tough. It's tough when you have that blemish on your record.
real tough.
Yeah.
But next up,
Someone who's not done anything bad.
that's debatable. But Childish Gambino is, I'm sorry, he's my favorite artist of all time. I love Childish Gambino
Super talented.
so much. I have his first album right there. He's done a lot of different mixtapes. Some of his like really early music is kind of rough, but as he's gotten better and better. He's switched it up so much. He's become influential, and the fact that when he was doing the things he did, like when he made Because the Internet, when he made I'm blanking on the album, or Awaken My Love, people are like, what is this guy doing? But as years have gone on, people have been trying to do what he does. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's so good. It's so quality. He has the flows. He has great lyrics. He has super intense themes. Like, Because the Internet, it was an album. It was a movie. It was a screenplay. It was everything. Like, it was such a good album. And everything else has been really good too. The only thing is, the album he made, I think it was towards the end of 2019, was kind of rough. Like, I was in denial when it first came out. I was like, new Childish Gambino, but it was not that good. Like, he went too hard with trying to be atmospheric and thematic. Like, it wasn't very good. But since we're not considering 2019, late 2019 to 2020, he's one of the best, easily, and that's not even taking in what he does outside of music. Like,
oh my god, this man has his toes dipped in anything he can, and he does a great job at all of it. Like, it's
he's an incredible talent. Like, it's absurd. But just his music, it's hard to put him in S tier because his music doesn't have the same gravitas as everyone else in S tier as far as popularity goes. But I do think he's extremely talented and extremely influential. So I think A+ tier makes a lot of sense. I'd put him just below The Weeknd because I think The Weeknd has more star power as far as just his music.
I think that's fair.
Gambino is amazing. If you haven't listened to anything, listen to his album Because the Internet, and it'll change you. I'm telling you, it's real good.
Real talented, man. Really talented. Billie Eilish.
So, here's the thing with Billie Eilish, right? So she has blown up in the past year or two. You know, like 2019 to 2020 have been insane for Billie Eilish. Homegirl has like a billion Grammys already. Like, it's nutty. But since we're not really considering those 2 years, kind of rough for Billie because she only had that one album. But I think we do have to take into account what she's done to a degree because it's been so otherworldly insane for her. You know, like, she is arguably one of the biggest artists out right now. You know what I mean? Like, and her stuff is really good. It's really solid pop. She has it's very atmospheric as well, but also has very solid lyrics and emotion to it. And she's
got a very unique style. And I think one of the biggest appeals to her is that she's such a young artist.
Yeah, exactly. She has like, it's weird because she has this super like homegrown feel to her, even though that's not the case. Like, her parents are very much in the music industry and are a huge reason why she got as popular as she did. But now she's here. She's here to stay. Like, a decade from now, she's most likely going to be an S tier artist. Like, there's no way. Like, she's just
you won't be able to deny it. She's just going to keep going.
It's really impressive what she's done already. So can't wait to see what she does in the future. It's just, again, since it's hard to consider her recent success, I think that holds her back a lot in this year list. And I think that's also a pretty good spot for her because we haven't seen the best from her yet. So
nope, but I think she's a little more here, maybe here.
I'd put her in between Lil Uzi and Sara Bareilles. That's a good spot.
Okay, I think that's fair. Cool. Yeah, looking forward to more from her though. Absolutely. Like, this, if you're watching anybody on this list, watch her. Like, keep your eye on her. Absolutely. Next two, I'm gonna kind of combine them a little bit. Not combine them, but like just this next two are kind of a little bit of heavier topics. Just a little bit of a forewarn.
Those of you that don't know, the next two artists we have coming up are Juice WRLD and XXXTentacion, and they both were either killed or committed suicide within the past 2 years. And here's the thing with it, right? If we're being completely objective about it, with both of them, they have definitely gained a lot of positivity with critics after they died than before they died, because before they were getting a lot of flack for being very generic, not a lot there, just kind of being, hey, sad rap is popular now, so they do sad rap really well, and that's kind of it. But I think after they died, a lot of people listened to it again and have gained more appreciation for them. But if we're being completely objective about it, both of their music isn't super great. Let's just focus on Juice WRLD for now. I think he's definitely better at what he does for sure. Like he kind of became the poster boy for like sad emo rap kind of deal. Basically, like what Uzi started, he took the torch and ran with it.
Yeah.
But again, the biggest problem is he was gone too soon. We didn't get a lot from him. But what we did get, it was pretty good. But it's just
absolutely
he was missing that oomph for sure.
Yeah, definitely not. There was. It had a lot of impact on its own, but it also didn't really feel like it hit as hard in a weird. Like I don't know how I'm trying to like convey it in a way that would kind of make sense in like a visual or like a sound based aspect, but like it feels like his impact didn't cause as big of a crater as it could have.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what's holding back a little bit on this list. Definitely gone too soon, absolutely, just from like an age standpoint as well as a musical standpoint. So that's kind of hard. We're not really sure where to put him.
Yeah, I think he kind of just goes. I think he goes in B tier.
Yeah,
I'd say he's low chance.
I think so
because
too.
Again, we didn't get to see enough from him. Whereas XXXTentacion, again, a lot of similar qualities to them, except I don't think he was as good as Juice WRLD is, especially for what he did. Because they are in the same category, but they have very different styles to them.
Yeah.
And plus, XXXTentacion, the problem with him is he had a lot of outside of the music issues with him. There was a lot of stuff going on with allegations and getting arrested multiple times, and there was a lot of questionable decisions he's made.
Yeah.
But as far as just his music, it was pretty solid. But he also was getting ripped apart by critics.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. But it definitely was very influential though, and he was very popular as well.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about him.
So I think because of that, he's probably top of C tier, I would say, because it was quality for what it was, but also it could have been better, and he also was definitely not a role model, if that makes any sense.
No.
So it just it is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah. That's where they end up. But let's move on now, and let's go into Return of the Mac. Get what it is, what it does, what it isn't. Macklemore. McDonald's.
He's interesting because he like blew up with Thrift Store and
Thrift Shop. Yeah.
Thrift Shop. Sorry, and there was a few other like really popular singles.
Can't Hold Us.
Can't Hold Us, and there's one other one.
There's a couple others, yeah. There was a couple more like not as party-esque songs.
Yeah, but the thing is like, one, he got a lot of flack because at one of the Grammys, I believe it was 2013 Grammys, he won like the rap categories over Kendrick, and he got a lot of hate for that because there's a lot there. That's a different topic. And two, he's gotten this like white savior label put on him because he talks a lot about different issues, like different like political issues and social issues, but basically has nothing to do with them. So it's interesting. But as far as just his music, again, he blew up, pretty popular, but then it wasn't like a drop off. He just slowly started to fade from relevancy,
which is kind of weird. Like it doesn't feel like if we were doing this and talking about his potential back when his songs and singles were like hit songs and singles, we'd think he'd be in the music industry for years to come. Yet he just kind of isn't there anymore. And there was no real like announcement. There was no real like I'm stepping away. He just kind of fizzled out and then faded away. And it was really weird. But I mean, I love his music. I think his music's really like poppy and fun and energetic. I think he's really cool, really genuine guy.
Yeah, I just think because of everything we've said, he's definitely getting held back a lot from the top. But I'd say he's probably right behind Ed Sheeran. He's not as talented as Ed Sheeran is, but I think
No.
as far as his popularity,
I cannot find. There he is. I was like, where'd he go? Yeah.
So, you know.
I think that's a very valid spot for him. Absolutely.
So,
Home stretch.
as far as completely different rap styles, we're going to Migos, who, here's the thing. I am not a Migos fan by any means, but they completely changed rap, period. Like rap, like before them, popular rap was very different than what it is now.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Regardless if you like them or not, that is undeniable. How much influence they have and how much popularity they have. Now, when it goes into their actual quality of music, not great. It's basically like it's like 21 Savage for worse, essentially. But they're way more popular and influential than Migos.
Yeah.
And like, because like you wouldn't have 21 Savage without Migos.
It's true.
So you can't not consider them. But they're just it's not there's not a lot there, you know.
Very such a interesting spot for them because like Storm said, their quality is not the best, but their influence is just at a different level. Especially in the genre. They kind of push their style into the limelight more than a lot of other artists on this list have, and it's kind of interesting. It's a very distinctive spot for them, I think.
Yeah, I think because of all of that, I think they're right in between Tyler the Creator and Pharrell, because they're otherworldly influential. But it's just the actual quality of the music isn't super great. Even for Migos fans, the most recent albums have not been great.
They're an interesting spot.
They're kind of in their own lane, honestly.
Definitely.
Shout out to Migos.
Yeah, pushed A tier to 2 rows. That's kind of fun. Almost done. We got a few more guys. Hold in, bear with us. We're gonna get this done. It's a long video, but I appreciate you guys if you're still watching or if you've been watching in parts.
Definitely. Next up is Wiz Khalifa. Honestly, there's not too much to say about Wiz Khalifa. He had a couple like really solid singles, and he's been around for a good amount of the decade. Yeah. But he's just very average.
He's
Wiz Khalifa. As far as lyrical ability and flow wise, like he's fine. He's not hurting anybody, but he's not super aggressive either. And like his singles were popular, but he wasn't like super popular. Like I feel like he's the definition of C+ tier. You know, he's there, he's good, he's not great.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway. I think I completely agree. I mean, like I don't really know what else to say. He's just there. He is. Hi, Wiz. Good to see you.
It's a black and yellow, but that's kind of it. So
I forgot about that song.
Yeah.
The song popped off when that happened.
Exactly. So moving on though, Halsey.
I
have no clue where to put Halsey because like she has. I feel like she has the most equal of people who love her music and people who despise her music. Like it's so wild. Like I don't get why people hate on. I mean I do. It's basically just a lot of people don't like her voice, kind of similar to what we were saying about Rihanna. Except if Rihanna's haters were like 10 times more vocal. Yeah. Like that's kind of where Halsey's at. But it's good though. Like she has a lot of talent and it's popular. But I think Halsey is basically like the product of all the super popular pop artists that came before her. She's like the pop personified.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to describe her. I don't know. I feel like you said, she's like, if you put a poll out of if you enjoy Halsey's music to like the most like unbiased people you can find, you know, it'd be a 50-50 split. Like it'd be really hard to just put her in a specific spot. And that's kind of why we're having trouble deciding where to put her. And like you might think, oh yeah, so that means she's B or C. Like, but not really though at the same time.
Yeah, I think now that we're saying it aloud, I think she kind of goes in B tier, similar to where like Lana Del Rey and Selena Gomez are. You know, like she's up there, she's good, but I don't think she's like anything super duper. She's not the top of any of the categories we've been talking about.
Not at all. Yeah, she's not terrible. She's not amazing, but she's also not even like at the top of the average. You know, we're not being rude. That's just where she's at. You know.
Yeah. It is.
Speaking of garbage, no.
God, that's not inaccurate. The Chainsmokers are just. How would you put it? How would you put it?
The Chainsmokers are. They're the like middle class of pop music. They do it and they make it poppy and they sure as heck make it catchy, but like there's so many other artists to choose from. Why would you choose them?
Yeah, have you seen those YouTube videos of like, we made a robot watch 100 whatever videos, and this is what the script they came up with.
We made a robot listen to 1,000 hours of pop music, and the Chainsmokers are what it came out with.
Exactly. It's like if someone like sat in a lab and analyzed all the data of what makes pop music popular, and we're like, we're gonna make a pop artist. Chainsmokers.
Yeah. Chainsmokers.
It's just there's no reason to listen to them over anyone else on this list. They are not original or unique in any way, but it's just they make singles and that's it. There's nothing to their music. It's just there, you know. Like
they're like there they are.
They're basically like they're like Imagine Dragons but worse.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. Imagine Dragons without the rock feel.
Yeah, like
So,
I think they're top of D tier or bottom of C tier, whatever you want to do.
No, top of D tier.
it's like, and the thing is, they are super popular, but it's just obviously this is a subjective list.
Yeah,
and it's oh my god,
we don't
it's
like
so
them.
just whack. But
yeah.
Speaking of popular artists, though, arguably the most popular artist on this list, Champagne Poppy himself,
Champagne Poppy,
the sick god, Drake
himself, he's here.
Wow. So here's the thing, right? Drake is, again, otherworldly popular and otherworldly influential. Like, obviously, you wouldn't have Drake without Kanye, but once Drake was there are so many rappers that are trying to be the next Drake, and it's just not happening. Like Drake is just in his own tier of popularity at this point. Like, he's up there with BTS as far as popularity. Like,
absolutely.
It's absurd. But because of that, I think we can both agree on this, and I think a lot of people can agree with this. Because he's so popular now, he's just putting out random stuff. Like, he can put out anything, and it would still do well.
He's kind of. I mean? I don't think he's lost the passion for making music, but he's definitely not at the same level when he first started.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the thing though, is as years have gone on, it's not like Ed Sheeran where it gets worse and worse. It's just, it's been so spotty, you know, as far as quality goes. Because he'll put out an album like Take Care, that's really good. It's really solid, but it's not for everyone. But then he puts out a Views, or he puts out a More Life, and you're just like, this is so bland, and this is just basic rap, but it's Drake, so people like it. But then he puts out oh my goodness, what is that album, that mixtape called?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Oh my god, it's the white one where he's got the writing on it that had Know Yourself and all those songs. I'm totally blanking on what it's called, but if you like Drake, you know what I'm talking about. He puts out an album like that, and you're like, where did this come from? Like, this is everything I want from Drake. Like, he sounds super aggressive. He sounds really emotional in his songs. Like, but he also has the bangers, and like, it's just he's so all over the place. It's weird, but as far as other than musical quality, he is the top of every other part of music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just his quality holds him back a bit, but it's just because of how much he's changed the game, he cannot be anything other than S tier. But I think exactly that, he's the bottom of S tier because his quality is so all over the place. But when he's on, he's really good. It's just, it's hard to find those times, you know?
Yeah, Drake's in such a weird spot for that. Definitely not a weird spot on the tier list, but a weird spot for what he's put out and kind of his energy. I think if we do this video in 2 years again, or like remake this the next decade, I think Drake will be a lot lower.
Well, also so we know this now. At the time of recording this, he just put out a teaser for his next album, and the way he's been promoting it's leading to, or it's looking like this is gonna be his last album. So who knows what's next for him? But it's gonna be interesting.
We'll see what happens.
Interesting regardless. But
from influential to Meghan Trainor.
Yeah, you go ahead with this one.
She's got good music, man, but I don't know. I don't like. Ah, God, we're not taking their person into account, but she's not the greatest human being on this planet.
Yeah, but she's also not the worst.
Exactly,
Either.
that's the
Like,
thing. She's okay, but her music's
okay.
great. Her music's
She's
great.
had like some really popular songs.
Yeah, a lot of her like the first song that really blew her up was all about that bass, and it had like that like old classic like jukeboxy vibe while also still being modern, and
like Johnny Rocket's Diner.
like Johnny Rocket's Diner, just not cockroach infested.
Damn.
Hey man, I love
Okay.
Johnny Rockets, but that place is dirty. Anyway. There goes our Johnny Rocket sponsorships. Anyway, I don't think they got the money to sponsor us anyway. Sorry. Just throwing.
This is a Johnny Rocket hating session, I guess. Oh my god, that man's taking shots.
Anyway.
Her music, she's a good singer. She's really popular. There's so many like, she's in an odd way. She's become like the advocate for like family music.
Sorry,
It's weird how many like, little kids love her music.
Yeah,
Like that.
right. It's like she's like prime Just Dance music. Like,
yeah, like she's definitely there. She's definitely very relevant, but again, there's a lot of interesting qualities for music, and it's not the best.
Yeah,
it's not the worst. She's up there.
Absolutely.
It's like it. I don't know. I don't think she's A tier, but she's probably
definitely,
like
like,
she's
in
she's
here
B tier.
somewhere. Yeah, but like
I'd put her like. I'd put her right between Billie Eilish and Sara Bareilles. You know,
yeah,
like
it's kind of looking there.
And she has the talent. It's just there's something missing.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
We can't put our finger on it. It's just is she lacking a little too like is there just a little bit of less soul than she could have? I don't know. That's a different topic.
Anyway.
Alrighty, so after Meghan Trainor, we got Coldplay.
Coldplay it's weird because they've been doing music for a hot minute.
Yeah,
a lot of the best stuff is before this decade, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people's opinion. So it's kind of odd to rate them, but they have it. Their quality is it's kind of like Macklemore in that it hasn't taken a drop. It's just kind of slowly been going down. Not as it's definitely been going down slower than Macklemore has, but it just they've kind of become like a meme. Like they're just Coldplay. You know, like it's
like, oh hey, here comes Coldplay
know.
soon on AARP. Like,
like it used to be this like super influential and important artist, but I think now they're kind of just like, it's not bad, but it's just alternative / rock music.
The thing about Coldplay though is I think they're the most consistent in a lot of these people's that we've got. A lot of the people's music that we've got on this list. I think they're the most consistent in sound. I'm not saying every Coldplay song sounds exactly the same, but every Coldplay song has the same sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know it's a Coldplay song. Like, you can tell.
It's both a good thing and a bad thing, you know?
Exactly. It's a very. You can either think that's great because you know that there's the consistency, and you like that, or you can think it's bad because like why aren't you innovating? Why are you staying stale on your music? I don't know. I think they're really good though. I don't think they're any lower than C plus. Like I don't think I can put them any lower than C plus comfortably.
Yeah, no. I think they're like smack dab in the middle of C plus. You know, like they're just
above Rihanna or below Rihanna. I'm below Rihanna.
Yeah, I think that's a great
platform. I will say, without Coldplay, we wouldn't have Viva La Vida, and we wouldn't have Fallen Kingdom, one of the best Minecraft parodies ever by Captain Sparkles himself. And I think that speaks volumes. I'm just putting that out there.
We're just gonna turn this into a Minecraft song.
We're gonna put that's coming next. Actually, that's our next video.
Here we go.
Subscribe and stay tuned. Anyway.
Anyway, though, Khaled. I never know which one is the right pronunciation. But one of the two. He's really good. He kind of came on towards the end of the decade, but not as late as someone like Billie Eilish. But he's really good. It's really impressive for what he's done so far. Like he's put a lot of quality. I think he already has like 2 or 3 albums, and he kind of blew up in 2017. So it's pretty good. But you know, he just hasn't been doing it as long as other people, and he's not that super. Yeah, he's a fresh face, and he's not super super popular, but he is very popular. What he does, very quality, very solid lyrics, really original. Surprisingly,
Yeah,
has a very distinct voice. But he's lacking that oomph. But for what
absolutely.
we got, it's really good.
Yeah,
So
I think he's great. I mean, but because he's Sony, we don't really got much to talk about. So,
yeah, I think he's bottom of A tier.
oh
But
yeah,
like
definitely,
again, the next decade list, who knows where he's at?
exactly.
So
Come back in 10 years when we're
out to
30 and with
Cali.
families. Anyway,
But next up, though, I think you know about more about this artist than I do.
Sam Smith. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a Sam Smith aficionado, but I do think they're amazing. I think they've got a lot of talent vocally, and they're a huge, massive spokesperson for LGBTQ, and I think that's great. I think it's wonderful to hear such a prominent voice speaking for that kind of topic. But that's not about their music. Their music is really like just talk about like making you feel something. Sam Smith makes you
emotional.
feel something, and it's great. I think their level of what's the word I'm looking for? Their level of personality, their own personality showing in their songs is not anywhere comparison to a lot of these other artists, if any of these other artists. I think their personality really shows.
Yeah, that really shows, and since they're so popular, that's rare for how much like authenticity they have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's crazy. So I think they go really high.
I think I don't know what's holding them back from S tier, but I feel like they're not S tier.
No, because they don't have. They have a few like really popular singles, but not a ton.
Yeah,
and not like a ton of super good stuff. Like
yeah.
I think that's the perfect spot.
I think this is really good for them. I think bottom of A+ tier, maybe a little higher, maybe a bit higher than Pentatonics, but I feel like if anything, it's kind of like this, more so than it is this. But
yeah, I just don't think they're not as popular, and they're not as influential either.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing holding them back a little bit. But I think that's a great spot for them. Next up, I
Luke Bryan. just the way you say it, it's just I feel like that tells everything. Luke Bryan. I'm sorry. Here's the thing.
I'm not trying to roast the man, but every picture I've seen, he looks like he's made of silicone.
Plastic man.
He looks like a plastic man.
Like, here's the thing. If we're going just off our opinions, I don't think he makes this tier list at all. But the thing is, he's so popular within country music. Like, it's undeniable. Like, he has extremely popular songs, and is very good at what he does. But it's just, I think what he does doesn't appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because how many times have you heard someone say, when you ask someone, "Oh, what kind of music do you like?" Anything but country. Exactly. So many people say that. Like, it's ridiculous.
But I feel like the fact that Luke Bryan and then the next one, Blake Shelton, are both on this list, and that we both not that we both know their names, but we both know their names, I think speaks volumes for them.
Exactly.
Because man, you wouldn't catch us dead willingly listening to country music. You did.
So, I think because that both of them go in the exact same spot, like back to back. I think they both go in between Macklemore and Ed Sheeran. Like they're so relevant and so popular, and I'm sure they're influential within what they do. I don't know too much about country, so I'm assuming people would try and copy them, but I don't know.
Yeah, we can't really speak on them more than what we see from an outsider's perspective. And from an outsider's perspective, if you're bleeding into the mainstream from the country genre, you're doing something right.
Exactly. So shout out to both of them, but it's not for me.
No.
But here's the next one. You could put her so many different places on this list and it would make sense.
Right.
But Ariana Grande, I think she has to be at least A+ tier.
Yeah.
She is not only amazingly like talented as far as her voice goes, but
that's not
her songwriting.
Her, just temporary. Continue.
Yeah, her songwriting is great. She has amazing production on most of her albums. Extremely popular. Like extremely popular. She's been a great advocate for women as far as like empowerment and whatnot. And she's here and she's here to stay, and it's undeniable her star power for sure.
Her vocal talent is up there with Mariah Carey, and is, if not arguably in modern day maybe better than Mariah Carey, as Mariah Carey hasn't been taking care of her voice very well.
Mhm.
But like she, as we're talking about this, I'm pretty sure like 3-4 days ago she dropped a new song.
No,
So
she literally just dropped an album last night.
yeah, there you go.
So
There you go.
you know, obviously we can't consider that because it's 2020, but you know,
Yeah, deep
that
into
just proves
2020.
she's been doing it. Like that's the thing. When she dropped this album yesterday, not there were 4 different things at the top of Twitter that were trending that had to do with her album.
Yep.
Like that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, that's
So
you know you have a presence when stuff like that happens. Like she's arguably she's a queen and you can't deny it, you know?
yeah, so I think she's got to be S tier, and I'd probably put her like in between Bruno Mars and Frank Ocean.
I think
I
that's a
think
good spot. I think that's a really good
she's
spot.
one of the best out there. If you don't like her, you know that's how you feel,
Yeah.
but she's undeniable. How good she
Absolutely.
is, so kind of the complete opposite of that. Moist Provolone, aka Post Malone, aka whatever you want to call him.
He's got tons of nicknames.
He's got a lot of nicknames, and he's also another artist where there's a lot of different places you could put him on this tier list. But as far as just pure popularity goes, he's got to be up there. Like he is one of the most popular artists today.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Like
he's got some really popular singles, and he's pretty talented as well. I don't think he's nearly as talented as most people in S tier or A tier for that matter. But I mean, it's undeniable how much of a relevancy force he is. I guess is the best way to put it. But there is a lot of fair criticisms about his music not having a lot to it. Him being what a lot of people call a culture vulture, as in his music is extremely rap influenced, if not straight rap, and yet he constantly says he does not want to be classified as a rapper, but he's doing all the things that make rappers popular. So it's very controversial in that sense. I am not a fan of him by any means, but it's pretty undeniable how relevant he is for sure.
Yeah, I always kind of classify Post Malone as my like guilty pleasure music in a weird way. I don't know if that's like the right terminology for it, but like I don't know. I really enjoy his music a lot, and I don't know why I enjoy his music a lot because it's not the type of music I normally listen to.
It's really catchy though. Like it's really catchy. It sounds great. He's got great production, but it's like there's not like a whole ton there.
No, but I don't know. I think maybe it's just like the way it's mixed or mastered maybe. But I don't know. I think he's really good, but you can't deny that his decisions on how he wants to classify himself are a little yikes.
And also it's not just that, but it's just he could be a lot better too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like he's not the best pure talented artist out there.
Yeah.
But you know, he is extremely relevant. So I feel like I think he goes right behind Ed Sheeran, honestly, as well. Like he's really up there, but there's a lot to be desired too.
Absolutely.
So that's that.
I think that's a great spot for him.
So next up though, getting towards the end still, almost there, but it's
Almost
Logic.
Logic.
Who oh my god. We're going on a string of artists where you can put them anywhere.
Yeah.
But Logic, like if we're just taking his music, it's been a roller coaster. It's been very, very up and down. And the problem is one of his best albums, some people will say it's his best album, came out this year, and we can't consider that. So if you don't consider that album, he definitely gets dropped a lot because he came on really strong with some great mixtapes, and Under Pressure was a great album. And then his next album was pretty good too. A lot of like really interesting themes he did with that. But then since 2015, it is like it is. He's been making more stuff, and he's still really popular. But quality wise, it has been dropping and dropping and dropping to the point where like Supermarket was straight garbage. Like it was not good. He definitely had his Kid Cudi phases where like he just puts out these projects where you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What is this?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a tough look for our guy, and especially since we can't consider No Pressure, his most recent album, that definitely drags him down a lot. But he is really popular. He has a lot of talent. It's just, again, I think the criticism of, you know, he basically just takes what other people do and tries to do it is pretty real.
Yeah.
And but it's not bad though. It's definitely not bad. So
Fake it till
I
you make
think
it.
I think probably C plus, top of C plus is a
Yeah,
good spot.
I
For
think
him.
that's a good spot indeed.
Mhm.
Definitely. God, I don't even want to talk about this next guy.
Listen,
Why
if
do you have
you
to be
don't
popular,
know,
bro?
if you don't know why we would hate on 6ix9ine, just Google 6ix9ine and you'll figure it out. He's a horrible person.
Terrible.
He is Chris Brown levels, if not worse, as person goes. And then on top of that, his music is garbage. Like, it's so bad. It's good for hype music, but even then, there's better hype music out there. The dude's just yelling, and there's nothing to it. Like, there's literally nothing to it
No
other than just
substance.
getting hype or going to parties. And then again, there's better stuff out there for that. So he
Yeah.
is beyond garbage, worst of the
Ugh.
worst. Why would you support this artist? I don't know, but he's here and he's popular, so it's there. But
It's gross.
there's so many other better options. So
He's also a
6ix9ine.
snitch, and snitches get stitches.
they do. The snitches get to meet Shawn Mendes. It's true.
There you go. Snitches get to meet Shawn Mendes.
But
I
moving
want to
on,
see. Hold on, no. I want to see a conversation between 6ix9ine and Shawn Mendes in the same room. I am very curious to see how that would turn out.
I don't know. Shawn Mendes strikes me as the type of guy to go to a Mexican restaurant and then like put on a fake accent, and be like, "Hola." Seems like that kind of guy.
Absolutely.
So I feel like there could be a lot of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Lil Wayne. Oh my god. It's weird because I'm definitely biased because of recent events. Lil Wayne has done some questionable things, like literally within the past week.
Yeah.
But if you're just taking his music, he's also one of those artists that suffers from this decade was not his strongest. His best
No.
music was definitely in the 2000s.
Absolutely.
But then again, he has had some pretty solid songs, had some pretty popular songs this decade, and Carter 4 was pretty good. It wasn't as bad as people like hated on it for, because if you don't know, Lil Wayne's Carter series of albums are like his best by far, and they're the most anticipated. Carter 3 is, a lot of people consider it to be one of the best albums ever made. Like it's rap albums, that is. It's really good. But then when Carter 4 came out, kind of controversial. But again, he's good. He's been relevant. It's just this decade has not been nearly as good as the last decade. So because of that, we can't rate him too high, because
Yeah.
he has a problem of with a lot of these artists, right? Like we're saying, can't wait to see more. I want to see what they do next. Whereas with him, we already know what he can do, and he's not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
You know? So because of that, I think he's probably C tier. Like it has not been very good for him this decade.
It's kind of a tough look for him too. Where would you put him in C tier though?
I'd say he's in between Miley Cyrus and Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
It's tough. You hate to see him that low, but it's
Well, that's where he has to go. You know,
you do,
bro.
bro.
For show.
Complete opposite though. Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Homegirl dominated like the charts and the radio for years, and then just randomly disappeared. Like I don't know.
I think it wasn't it around when she got pregnant. She just kind of like stepped away for a bit.
Maybe I don't know. That could be the case. But just wow.
I mean,
it's weird.
You can't deny Katy Perry's popularity, and she's got like a very distinctive voice and a very specific talent. Did you know she started out as a Christian rock lead singer?
Yeah,
purely.
I think someone in her family was like a pastor or something.
Yeah, she used to sing at churches all the time, and then when she broke into the musical mainstream, she became like devout Christian rock, and it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it was a big thing. Because when she made "Kissed a Girl," like her family like reacted very negatively to that, as you'd imagine. But like again, she has bangers. Like she has such good, super catchy songs. It's crazy. It is crazy. And again, she's super popular. But then I think it was around like basically after Roar came out, that was kind of the last we heard of her for a while.
Yeah.
And she came back and she's made some songs, but she hasn't been nearly the cultural powerhouse that she used to be.
Yeah.
So like I think that definitely drags her down, but her peak was pretty high up there. I just think, it's been a while since I've heard anything from her.
I think something that also helps her is she doesn't really feel like she feels like a celebrity, but she also doesn't, because she's just herself when she's on camera or on stage. Like she's so goofy. I think she falls a lot on stage during live performances. Like she's just really goofy. She's just herself, and it's really charming. I think it's really cool. We love Katy Perry, but I don't think she's any lower than. I don't think she can't.
And I think that's a perfect spot for her though.
Yeah,
is bottom A tier because she's again her peak was
S-tier.
borderline S tier.
Yeah.
You know? So,
but we're not talking about her peak. We're talking about her average.
Her whole discography.
Yeah.
So gotta take that into account.
All right.
But so
the final one, and wow, is it a big one?
Okay. So Eminem, very similar to Lil Wayne, has the problem of a lot of his best stuff was before this decade.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the stuff this decade. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Doo-doo garbage poopy. It's not good.
He has bars that sound like that. Like
yeah.
if you just said just said that, people would be like, "Is that Eminem? Is I don't know." Like it's.
There is a bar where he mentions the word diarrhea.
Yeah, I think it was your booty is heavy duty like diarrhea.
Like what is that? Like
it's not what you want. It's not what you want.
What are you doing, dude?
And here's the thing: he's not F tier. A lot of people would be like F tier, like because it's been an extreme fall from grace. Even though he does, the thing is, he still is extremely popular and extremely relevant for sure. But it hasn't been all bad. His album that he dropped in 2013, it was the Marshall Mathers LP 2. That was pretty good. It was a pretty good album. He had a lot of really good songs in there. It was a great return to form for him, especially coming off of recovery. But then after that, it's been like just a complete downhill spiral. Like it's really rough.
We feel for Eminem, dude.
It's really rough. So because of that, I think he goes in C tier. Because again, he still does incredibly. He's the best selling artist. He's the best selling rapper of all time. I'm pretty sure. Like it's
he's
absurd.
Up there.
So he's up there for sure. And man, do we miss old Eminem? But it hasn't been all bad this decade. But it's been majority bad. So,
absolutely. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit on this and get the full picture for you guys. But there it is. There it is.
The 2010s to 2019 decade tier list.
And that's it.
Boom. It is done.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's been a long video. Prior to editing, it's well over 3 hours. We're not sure exactly how long it's going to be until after it comes out. I do want to mention that I think it was mentioned in the beginning of the episode, but we are recording this before we hit 100, but we're so close that we just want to thank you guys for hitting 100. I'm sure we'll pass it by the time this video goes up, if not have already. I seriously appreciate it, you guys. We both do, and we're super looking forward to more content being put out for y'all, and hopefully you enjoy what we got coming forward. You got anything else to say, Storm?
That's basically it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to check out more from us, we're both on Twitch at DarkZekrom9898 for Jason and at StormTargaryen for me. And yeah, we'll be back sometime soon. If you want to give us input on what tier list we should do next, definitely let us know. We're always open to hearing. If you agree or disagree with our tier list today, definitely let us know what you think.
Absolutely.
Underrated someone, overrated someone, or completely forgot someone. So we're really anxious to hear, and can't wait to see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe for more great quality content involving tier lists and various different opinions. Leave your tier list on this topic in the comments down below, and if you'd like to make your actual tier list on this site, the template is there, and you can find it. Tweet at us at our own separate Twitters or at the Tier Mania Twitter, and we'd love to see your guys' tier lists. But without further ado, I've been DarkZekrom9898.
I'm Storm Targaryen.
And until next time, guys, take care, everybody.